Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be watching and or listening to this, I want to welcome you to the Gaming Circle podcast. The podcast where this week, we're kind of buried in games, and we're going to talk about that. I'm your host, Mr. K. Asante, TKO Asante, on all the places we find ourselves, and I am joined, of course, this week and every week by my brother from another mother, the man who is always late, yet always on time, Mr. Everborn Saga. Good morning, sir. How you doing? And we can't hear you because that's what happens when you jump in the middle of the stream. Turn your camera on, sir, or your mic, because I can't hear you right now. If you can hear me, I can't hear you. See, this
right.
is what happened. There we go.
This is the problem. It was on mute. I didn't look at the red light. I was saying the man who also happens to be sick today.
See, now I can't. All right. Well, okay,
so I'm going to tell you what happened.
Hope you're feeling all right. Okay.
I'm going to tell you what happened. Mm-hmm. So I I've typically had very bad allergies throughout life. Mm-hmm. And I decided to get like allergy shots. So at first, the first 6 months, you go every week. Mm-hmm. And then, your body builds up a tolerance. Then you go on a maintenance schedule and you, begin to go every month. Excuse me. You can see it's bad. The treatment worked wonders, right? And I have 2 cats, 3 dogs, not a problem. Allergies were solved. So I figured in my infinite wisdom that why do I need to do the monthly shots anymore? So for the last 4 to 6 months, I just said, screw it. I don't need these things. Mm-hmm. And then I had been having more frequent allergy episodes. Mm-hmm. And so I said, all right, you're not Superman. You got to go start getting the shots again. But now I'm back to square one and I have to go back to weekly shots. The problem with this is that when you start these weekly shots, they're injecting you with the things you're allergic to. And so those first few months like a dog. Are terrible. Yep. Yes. Yep. So that is where I am now. Red eyes, sore throat, gotta walk with an inhaler.
I feel bad for you, but I don't know how bad for you I feel. Mister, I know I've had allergies all my life, so I'm gonna live with a dog and a cat and a bunch of other animals. And
that wasn't the problem, because had I stayed on the regimen, they were no problem. It was this again. My demise is of my own doing, but it is that I thought I could just not do the maintenance, and now I'm off track, and I got to start over. So years worth of work. Right back at the beginning.
Right.
So I may not make it through the whole show, but I will do my best.
We'll keep it concise because we got things to do today. We got things to do, so we're gonna try to keep it concise. Hopefully, we can get there.
I have a big thing to do tomorrow. We can talk about that later if you want.
Okay, we can talk about that. All right. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. And our guest today, been wanting to have the brother on for some time now. Got the pleasure of meeting him in June at all the various showcases. We had a great time. The comms director from Level 1 Gaming. We got Baron J67 in the house. Good morning, sir. I apologize for making you wake up so damn early.
How you doing? Look, I'm doing great. See, folks know, if you guys follow Level 1 at all, I am an early bird. It's just, I'm usually the first person awake in my house, and I feel bad for my family because I've turned them all into morning people, and because they were not. But yes, it is a lot of games to be played. It's a lot of games to enjoy. I'm just glad that we're here in 2024, even though all the other craziness is going on. But the gaming is here. Like I don't know how people can say there's nothing to play, because there's everything to play.
Indeed.
Hey, Baron,
yes.
Like you said you turned your family into morning people. I have the same story with my wife. She goes to bed maybe 7 or 8 o'clock at night, but she is up 5 a.m. in the morning. And if she's up, guess who else has to be up?
The whole house.
There's no There's no tiptoeing around. Let me brush
Yeah.
my teeth. Let me go get ready. It's
Bam,
lights
bam.
on, shower loud.
Music.
So yes. So now I am I'm up at 5 a.m. But my only time that I have available to game is maybe after 10. So it's like I can stay up late gaming at my own peril. I just know once that alarm goes off at 5 a.m., that's it for me.
Yeah, you're gonna pay for it. And it's funny because it's just the way we grow up. You would think I grew up on a farm, but no, my parents just, even on weekend, well, it's weekend now. Like, we did not sleep in growing up. Like, that was just the whole house. Like, 6 a.m, any given day, you can go to my parents' house and everybody's just up, like walking around, like either breakfast being made or hanging out. That's just
that is precisely why I moved out of my parents' house, and now I'm back again. So full circle.
That's great. That's great. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm so not a morning person, but life happens. You got to do what you got to do. Otherwise, you stuff ain't getting done. It is what it is. I'm a non-morning person who averages at 5 a.m. wake up times. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? But yes, welcome one and all, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. We appreciate y'all being here. We already see folks in here. Numbers are swelling as it does. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Consider being a subscriber. We are on our march to 3,000 subscribers. Very small channel, little channel, right? We've been doing this for a little bit. We had 160 episodes right now. So we put the work in. We appreciate you. We know y'all like it because you come back every week. Try hitting that like button. If you're not a member already or a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, and we appreciate y'all. First and foremost, we see Mr. MJ Dark has re-upped his membership, so we appreciate you, good sir. Thank you so much for being here, as he always tends to. Web Dave is here with a $2 super chat. He says, "Yo, Everborn, Baron, and the ultimate Jedi Chaos." So he says that because I was on his show last week, and he presented me a gift that I have not gotten before, and I actually need to use that. They had me commissioned as a Jedi, basically Mace Windu style, with the purple lightsaber, only with the gray beard and the whole thing. I'm just like, yo, that was amazing.
That's bad.
So, yes, he has provided me. So I gotta put that on a shirt or something. It's real cool. Thank you, Web Dave. I appreciate you, brother. It's always good to see you. And with his membership, which by the way, MJ Dark has been a member for 10 months, he says, the way Sega marketing Sonic looks like he wanted to be adopted and not be homeless. At least Sonic is going to beat Astro. Not a huge deal, Godjima. So, okay.
There's a lot of codes in there. If you're a long-time watcher of the show, you'll pick up on all the punchlines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He comes here and he brings nothing but slander every time he's here. And he makes us say things that we don't want to say. I don't like saying the word Godjima, and he makes me say that. And of course, we have Mr. Everborn shill for Sonic Saga on the show. So we got to hear it from him. No apologies at all.
Sonic is life, man. I understand.
We finally got a good guest.
No,
wow.
Look,
wow.
To see Sonic.
Paris.
To see
disrespect all the previous guests.
No, to see Sonic do what it's doing, to have my kids try and school me on who Sonic is, and there's this whole movement, right? Like, you got Mario, you got Sonic, you have Ninja Turtles. Like, it's so fun to see my kids enjoying my childhood.
Going back to it. Yep.
Yeah, like they're watching, like, it's funny watching the aspect ratio of the old Sonic TV show, and my kids are all watching it on the big screen, and I'm just laughing, and they're all like, "Oh no, Amy, it's this," and da-da-da-da, and I'm like, "Don't talk to me about the old magics."
And you're sitting back going like
I was there when they were written. Like, don't do this.
So let's
all you gotta say, if they try to school you on Sonic, all you have to say is 2 words: Jaleel White.
Oh my God.
Like, come on. Come on. My Sonic is black.
Talk about it. No disrespect against sports, but all
what it is.
Sports. Jaleel White is Sonic.
So real quick, let's take a bit of a respite and have some dad talk here, because we have some dad gamers on this field. I was talking to Baron a little bit before we got this thing started. 3 daughters in a house gaming. How is that like? How like I always have to get some pointers and recommendations from dads, right? As they're getting to that place where the kids are gaming more. You know, you were telling me about the divergence of you purchasing tablets for them and how that has changed your gaming situation with them.
Yeah. So I made I say mistake because it's just split from how I game. And now there's like very little, like, let's meet in the middle and game together. But I bought my kids tablets. So first I started them off with, because I had a bunch of like Game Boy Advanced and Game Boy SPs. So I just kind of started them with that and seeing what they get into. Well, I noticed something with my oldest daughter that she would play Mario Kart. What was it, Mario Kart Advanced? But she would focus on designing the cars. Like she would go in and customize. Cool. And first of all, I didn't even know you could do that. I was like, what are you doing? And she's up in there pixelating the colors. And so then I was like, okay, so we got them tablets. You know, all the kids at daycare had tablets. They wanted tablets. So we got them one. Yeah. And they're heavy into like sim style games. Like it's funny watching it start so early. Like they're playing, like there's this game called like Toka Boca or something like that, where they're going in and designing their family and designing the world and buying buildings and like, filling the home and running a store. It's just that they try to get in the Roblox, but I refuse because that's just not.
Please, like, stand firm. There'll be no Roblox in my household either.
I logged on. I was like, let me see, and then this was scary. Imagine your 7-year-old walking up to you, and she does. I don't know if she knows how much I'm into gaming. Like I don't think she fully comprehends what I do. And she was like, oh yeah. I was like, well, why do you want to play Roblox, baby? And she was like, well, I want to RP. And I'm just laughing. I was like, why are you using acronyms? Like, are you trying to bypass what's going on here? And it just they grow up fast. As you guys know, like, but long story short, though, the main thing that I noticed is seeing the future of gaming in my kids, and that was the big thing that really I was like, okay, I get, like, thinking of Xbox, thinking of Sony, thinking of even I'm like, why does this AAA game have touchscreen controller settings? Like, why is that? You don't even get to enjoy the full screen. But it even from down the I seen somebody complaining about movies, and they were like, the way a lot of movies are shot now are with the intention to be cut into social media, and that's why a lot of the camera angles and a lot of the characters are center mass on the screen, and there's not much cinematography.
Right. That's right.
Yes, and it's just so but it makes sense. Like, this is the audience is our kids. Like, that's the future. That they're the next adults.
I hate that, bro. You know, I hate that so much.
You brought that up, and it's super interesting, and what it means to market to, you know, a new generation of. Because remember, like, if you're a gray beard, if you're 40s or whatever, and I know the 18 to 34 demo has kind of creeped up because we've all grown up and we still like those toys or whatever, but we are going to age out and we will be market. Listen, AARP is coming for us, right? Let's just be real about that. But there's a new generation of consumers growing now, and the way that they have to be marketed to. So when you look at a trailer for something, because they know that time is the biggest enemy, right, to gain attention. If you notice, when you see a trailer now, remember, a trailer is a preview of a movie, right, or a game. But now when there's a trailer, you have to show some explosions for the first 5 seconds and then get into the trailer. Because 2.5 minutes of a trailer is too long to ask people if they don't know that there's some sort of explosion in there. So it's almost like you have to have a trailer to the trailer. It's like explosion and then trailer starts now, right?
Yep.
It's so I mean, it is what it is, right? There's so many things pulling our attention in so many different ways in the information age, but I just find it interesting that like people have to grab people's attention who are otherwise being pulled in a million different directions.
Yeah. Like I almost feel bad for the, like, first off with us, right? Like you think about our generation, you might have like 5 games you're looking forward to, right? Like, but then that's it. But now, like,
And
what do
of those 5, you're gonna play 1 or 2.
right? But how do you market to the kid who everything is just this all day moving, everything is just moving all the time, and they stay with the trends, and you're not trendy, you're not this. I wonder,
we can't live in this world is what you're saying. As kids, we can't live here.
Yeah. Like I don't know what the games are gonna do, man. Like how do you, like, I wonder what MMOs look like 20 years from now. Like, what MMOs are my kids going to be playing? Like, Fortnite is the new MMO, and it's wild to see. Like, it's the world people live in now. It's interesting. I'm looking. I'm kind of excited.
I love that we are graybeards in this, and we're sitting there going, it's like we're Moses. We see it on the other side. We ain't gonna get there though. Nah, it's aging out of us. We ain't getting there. I'll stick with my piece of plastic and my controller. I'm fine. It's okay.
Yeah, man.
Well, you said new MMO, and it makes me think of Genshin.
Mm-hmm.
The fascinating
Genshin
product.
this week. I played Genshin this week. We'll get into it.
But
I tried it.
My daughter, 14, has literal thousands of hours in that game.
Wow.
See,
right?
Yeah,
and she's playing this. She's into The Sims right now. Like it's so crazy, right? She is more of a gamer than me. If you want to talk about the amount of hours that are put in, like you want to talk about hardcore, knowing all the specifics of a thing, I don't know that I've ever been as invested in any game as she is when she gets it. So it could be Tokaboka. It could.
So you do know the okay?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. It's a whole new generation of game, and it's also true that you said, like, I always look at her as like, okay, what? Because I had my son when I was 19, right? So he's 23 now. I'm getting ready to be 43 next month. So he's still kind of our thing in the way he looks at games. Like, he plays Call of Duty, like he plays WWE. He thinks of consoles like that. But my 14-year-old, it's a completely different.
She's ascended.
Does not know or care anything about consoles. She'd rather a PC. She does not want to play Genshin with a controller.
See,
as the touch controls are better, that's how she prefer to play.
See,
right. And the reason I say Genshin is such a fascinating product, because it's the same game on mobile, on PC, and on console. Not like here's a mobile version of that game. It's literally the same
identically
game.
The same game everywhere.
And it is it works obviously with a controller if you've played it that way. It works well with mouse and keyboard. It works very well with touch. And the fact that they've been able to craft something like that is still in the shape of a traditional game, right? It is an action RPG. Is to me one of the most interesting things in today's world. I guess Fortnite is similar. Is Fortnite on mobile the same game?
If I'm not mistaken,
because Call of Duty have a specific mobile variant, but
sure. The only difference in Fortnite on mobile is you get more bots. Like if you play the Switch version, you'll be playing with more bots than you would be if you're playing, because they know that some platforms cannot be as competitive as other platforms, so they'll fill it in depending on where you're playing. But by and large, the game itself is fundamentally exactly the same. Same save, same your loadouts and everything else carry over from all of just like you'd expect.
My younger brother, he's in the older 20s. I think he's 27, but he is one of those folks who's invested in the tablet and mobile gaming. Like
Okay.
he gets the clip for his phone that connects to his controller.
Mm-hmm.
He bought a bigger tablet screen so he could play better at Call of Duty mobile. Mobile board. Like, and it's so. I was like, bro, did you really go and buy? Like, it's hard for me to like grasp. I'm like,
because to you, Call of Duty is a console or a PC thing, right? Yeah.
And he went and spent more money to get a better tablet resolution to better dominate in Call of Duty mobile. And it's just I'm like, boom, it's a different world. Like, it really, and that's the future. If you got a 27-year-old doing that, he's clearly not the only one. Like, and then my kids, they're tablet kids, they're touchscreen everything. It's
as are mine.
Yeah. It's so strange. It's strange. Like,
it is.
And shout out to Game and Forte in the chat.
Mm-hmm. My bad. There you go.
Yeah. So his daughter has 400 hours in Genshin and 220 hours in Honkai Star Rail. Plays only mouse and keyboard. Or keyboard.
See, now that is a parent who needs to be respected and commended, ladies and gentlemen. Start the indoctrination early with the keyboard, mouse. Look at you. See, my kids, before they got a chance to play the new school, I needed to see that they'd beaten the original first 3 Mario Brothers, which my 5-year-old has. They've beaten the original Sonic. My 5-year-old has the original 3 Sonics. Before you get to elevate to the next level of console generation, you got to go to the doldrums. Play those a while. So yes, you got to start that indoctrination early. You know what I mean? It works. It's beautiful.
With all that being said, and we all know this, right? When we hear the Xboxes and the PlayStation of the world, like if we see this, and we all see it, right? When we see those guys saying we need to be in more places, how do we think these companies should address that upcoming generation of gamers? Remember, you can't just throw us out with the bathwater, because today we are the ones with money. And we're the ones with disposable income, and we're buying them those games most times. But how do you speak to that without throwing your current base to the wayside? Okay. I don't know the answer.
No, you know what's funny? It's a mix of what PlayStation and Xbox is doing. So PlayStation is marketing the change better. Xbox is enacting the change better.
Absolutely. I agree.
That's a fantastic observation.
That's what's going on here. PlayStation knows how to respect the money and respect who's spending the money, while on the back end making the changes, as we've seen with the update. And I know we're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about that. That's right. Yes.
And then Xbox is creating the structure and infrastructure and leading the charge and taking all the punches but the only thing I worry about with Xbox is, are they willing to hold on? Because not Xbox, but Microsoft. Is Microsoft willing to hold on? Because if Microsoft would have kept up with the HoloLens would definitely be outdoing everything that's out right now. Because it was everything that's going on now, the HoloLens was marketing. What was it, about 10 years ago?
15 years ago almost.
That is a familiar song for Microsoft. Game only for their competitors to get the fruit of their labor.
I'm sorry, I didn't see this slander real quick. Let me put this on display. Paris Lily saying the only people that care about console loyalty are us old people and fans of Sonic. The new generation just wants the games on their favorite screens to consume content. I think that's a shot across the bow there, Mr. Everboss. He's calling you out.
Don't ask questions, just consume product.
Just consume. And you know what? I like to lean with that. I don't develop. There's very little things I create. You know, I write a little bit, but not. You know, I'm a consumer first. I buy things, and like that. That's just the honesty of it. So that's why I always say PlayStation makes me want to buy things way better than Xbox does, and I just hope that Xbox doesn't give up. I say Xbox, I really mean Microsoft, because I know you guys felt it. Like once I started seeing, okay, this is my hot take. I believe that Activision.
Wait. Hold on. I need you to put on the tinfoil kufi before you start.
Oh, look, hold on.
We got tinfoil kufis in the house. Let's go.
Hey, wait, hold on. Look, I wish closest thing I got. Look, I'll put on my headband. My hidden black man headband.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah.
So, I believe. Wait, what was I talking about? See, look, now I blank.
No, you said you got a theory, and we were talking about Xbox and what Microsoft might do. And once
Activision Blizzard. I think that deal was the death of Xbox as we know it, because they now dipped into mom and dad's pockets, and now mom and dad are in the books. When I started seeing Satya Nadella talking on Xbox's behalf more than Phil Spencer, I knew this is now Microsoft's gaming. This is no longer Xbox. Xbox is a pretty name that's to keep the legacy, but this is Microsoft gaming. And things shifted.
I think this is why these and people will now understand why I invited you on the show. We've been saying this for some time now.
See,
actually, I reluctantly must give Mr. Everborn Saga his flowers, because when this whole thing started, he was like, "Is this going to turn into ABK versus ABK turning into Microsoft?" Because you dipped into Granddaddy's pocket. Right?
Yeah,
and in doing so, you changed the fundamentals on the ground.
Here was my position when we first talked about this, right? Yes, you dipped into the pockets, but that whatever. You're acquiring an asset, it's going to make you money. That's fine. But the thing is, if we look at what the margins of Activision are, right? They had something like 20 to 25% margins. Whereas Xbox, if you talk about their margins, they calculate it in a weird way, and it has to be what they call accountability margins. And what that means is there's a lot of internal things that Microsoft does that they don't have to pay for, but they do. It's just that like the Xbox division would be a customer of the Azure division for some cloud things, and they would be a customer of the Office division for Teams and all this other stuff. So even though you're spending money in the budget, it is going to another division in the company that is making money, and so you don't really count that towards your spend. So what they have, my point is, they have these weird calculations because they're such a large company that does so many things, and when they are their own, exactly. Yeah. So even then, their margins were somewhere around 10-15%, right? So you have to ask yourself, and I always say, anyone ask yourself this: if you're making the decision, Activision makes 20-25% margins every year, and they're everywhere. And now Xbox is making 10 to 15% on accountability margins, and they're supporting this hardware platform that costs so much money and does all these things. Why is it that even if you took raw numbers, Xbox pre-ABK was doing 15-16 billion in revenue, Activision was doing 8 billion in revenue, and Activision making half the revenue was bringing home more profit.
Way more profit.
Now, if you know that and you're making the decision, what are you going to tell Xbox to do? Are you going to tell Activision to become more like Xbox, or are you going to tell Xbox to become more like Activision? And that is the poison pill of this whole thing.
And it's funny because hearing that end of it, that makes way more sense into what's going on, right? Like like I said, I'm a consumer, so I didn't even know all of that. I even when I review things, I talk from, hey, is it fun? Is it not? and why wasn't it fun, and why was it fun? That's me. So, and it's funny how from both angles, from just the general like eye test, like looking at what's going on. Hey, where'd Phil go? Like, where'd that whole panel that was held hostage go? And now it's only Satya. Like, and I was like, the shift is coming.
Yep.
And it's not bad, but back to my original point of even bringing that up, and I'm sorry for derailing, is this so this change, like, and that the feel and flow of Xbox, I just hope that they hold on. Like, I hope they don't do the typical Microsoft thing and kill a good thing before it becomes the norm, and then all of a sudden try to play catch up. Because let's look at the Xbox One.
Courage. Have some courage.
Xbox One. Yeah. Everything that Xbox One was hated for is where
we
live. Xbox One
now.
would thrive in today's world.
Yep.
Would thrive. The way people talk to their technology now, the Xbox One was just too far ahead.
We say this all the time. They literally see the future, and they don't have the spirit and the conviction to continue walking down that line. So they pave the road, and then others benefit from the road that they've paved. It happens multiple times. The number one thing that I can point to is they build Cortana. People go, oh, it's Cortana, and then they depreciate it, and then Cortana's brain in the form of AI gets invented. Putting the cart before the horse.
You know? I got one better for you.
Go ahead, everyone.
You build Windows Phone, my precious.
Yes, precious.
And then as soon as Nadella comes in, one of his first acts is to kill the Windows Phone. And now they got to deal with regulators and begging and borrowing from Apple and Android just to get their cloud platform and their AI stuff into those stores. And it's like you had a platform.
Yep.
But you blew it.
Paris says $100 billion investment says you don't need to worry about Xbox going away.
Now, wait a minute. Wait, can I answer this, Baron? And I know he was responding to you, but this is something I keep saying. When people lament the future of Xbox, it is not that they think the brand is going away.
Yeah, not at all.
Xbox is the biggest and baddest publisher in the world. Xbox is not going anywhere. Xbox is going to outlive everyone listening to this show right now.
Sure, 100%.
Sure. Yeah.
So it is not that Xbox is going to go away, right? What people are lamenting is the old traditional console model of how they understand and have joined this community.
Quick example of this. I say Halo is dead. I'm the hugest Halo fan in the world. What I mean by that is Halo is dead to me because I want more campaigns. We all see Halo living very large still. But to me, Halo is dead because of that traditional console, traditional campaign model is no longer with us. So I can say it's dead all day. When you say Xbox is dead, that's right. When you say Xbox is dead, you mean to you because, oh boy, it still lives large everywhere.
The best way that I explain it is Xbox is dead. Long live Xbox.
Long live Xbox. That's right.
And I've never, it's funny, I've never thought of Xbox dying. What I'm worried about is, let's say they give up on Game Pass. Let's say they make or alter it in such a way that its core mission disappears.
Yep.
Let's say they get nervous and take steps back on day and date. Like this is what I mean by the changes coming from up top.
Yep.
Because pretty soon all your competitors are going to do it. Like it's going to happen. And I mean, we're watching it with the Portal and whatnot. And can I answer this? Baron, Pineapple Pizza, and Shy.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. So
oh yeah.
Sith Lord, $2 super chat. Thank you, and we'll take a quick break and we'll deal with them. He says, Baron, Pineapple Pizza, and Chai Deep Dish. What are your thoughts? Now, before you answer, you should understand there has been a war raging for some time, which was started by our one Everborn Saga, who chose to dash all Chicago pizza in favor of his New York brand pizza. And then, of course, there was the whole talk of the Travis Shamocracy of pineapple on pizza, which I think is an affront to man.
What
are your thoughts, sir?
Chicago pizza is not pizza. It is lasagna and or baked.
You see? I know,
I'll say this. As a very large man, you don't get this big on accident. I indulge in delicious. If it's delicious, I'm gonna eat it. I am. My family is very country at heart, so I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of things I've eaten that people would look at me like I'm crazy, but pineapple pizza and Chicago deep dish pizza are things that I eat with pride.
Absolutely.
Like yes, pride.
I just want to say, Baron, something can be delicious, just like
and wrong.
Ruth Chris steak is delicious, right? Right? Spaghetti, also delicious. That does not make it pizza.
Oh, stop it, bro. You gotta keep the war going. Calm down. You're gonna get people from Chicago coming after us.
But I do agree that pineapple on pizza is a gift from the gods. And people that do not recognize this,
it's delicious, but it's done wrong. It's wrong. It is wrong. It is not the right answer. I'm sorry. Come on.
You probably don't like kettle corn either, huh? Are you one of those people like this is supposed to be savory? It should stay savory.
See, I understand kettle corn. I just don't trust it.
See, I knew it.
He's one of those.
We found one. Oh, it is.
I don't trust that kettle corn. What is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him.
30 below with a $10 super chat. He says, my 24-year-old is PlayStation for life. My 12-year-old is Xbox, PlayStation, and mobile. Literally anything with a screen and an input. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. See, if you are of a certain age, you come to the gaming with certain, I wouldn't say baggage, but certain requirements, right? Whereas the younger you are, the more you care less, right? It's all about that content. And that answers the question more to what you were describing there, Everborn. How do they market to the youngins among us? It is a needle they have to thread, and they don't have the right answer either. That's why you're seeing them doing both parallel paths at the same time. And that darn social media is letting you hear messages that aren't meant for you. And then you're complaining about, what do you mean this is an Xbox, right? Like, this is them marketing to those people. It's a very weird place we find ourselves. You know what I mean?
PlayStation is just so much better at delivering bad news.
Yep.
Or not necessarily bad news, but news that they know a large portion of people wouldn't enjoy. Like,
let me spin that in a different direction. Glass half empty, glass half full.
Mm-hmm.
Is PlayStation better at delivering bad news, or are their fans more accepting of anything that they say?
No,
they have built-in a built-in, like, I call it political capital that they spend. They've offered so much greatness for so long that now you are less reluctant, more willing to go with them on their journeys, even if you're not necessarily convinced that what they're doing is right. You know what I mean?
Because I feel like PlayStation fans have a little bit more of a spine when it comes to their brand than Xbox fans can at sometimes. Because
That's
you
fair.
don't really see PlayStation fans screaming that the sky is falling at every press release the way you see Xbox guys do it. Because I feel like Xbox guys are harder on Xbox than PlayStation guys.
But to Baron's point, that could also be because of the way PlayStation delivers the message.
Yeah.
They're not earnest like that, to a fault that sometimes Xbox can be. Baron, you were going to say.
Remember, what was it? The day after the Concord announcement? Didn't they announce what was it, Astrobot or something? There was something that was announced.
The subject.
They immediately did it, and then I thought about what Xbox did. Right, with there was something. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking. Something bad happened. Oh, okay. Remember they had that amazing showcase. But then they announced, what was it? Was it the price increase? There was something negative that happened after the showcase.
So I see what you're saying. PlayStation's always able to supersede good news with bad news, whereas the opposite happens with Xbox, where they'll release an amazing show, and then whatever bad news happens after that tends to take over everything.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But who is doing that, though? Right? Like, This is the thing, right? You do not have the reverse when PlayStation does something that goes against everything that they have promised, right?
Yep.
What you have never seen is a flip like and I don't want to name names, but a Tim Dog or a D-Batch or a
Gotcha.
MGB. That has never happened in the reverse. Even when PlayStation does something that is diametrically opposed to everything that they say defines the PlayStation brand. And so you have to ask yourself, is it the company or is it the fans?
Yeah, that is interesting.
That's fair, man. I can't look. I can't even argue because you see it, right? You see it in the support of. I mean, you can look down into the metrics of content. You see it in the support of content. Like a good PlayStation post will always get more love than a good Xbox post. Like it just is,
and
that's across every social media.
Right, and that's part of that is the media's preference, but I don't want to get into that. What I will say though is even when there is bad news, they will refer back to previous good news.
Good news, yes, because they're trying to still solidify why they love the brand. So this might suck, but remember when they were doing something good?
Right. We talked about that amazing showcase when the bad news came out. No one referred back to the amazing showcase.
To the good news.
Yes, it is all over. It is dead. Oh my God.
It went out the window. It was so you know what really gets me though, and this I don't know if this is just me, but I mainly I have both, and I got all of it, right? But I've always had more friends and more friend interactions on Xbox, even though I've always had both. Everybody I know, it's like, oh, add me on Xbox, and I think it's just because the Xbox interface
that was more of a social platform.
It
was more of a social platform, at least at the beginning. Anyway,
honestly, people have accused Xbox of not having an identity, but I've always argued that Xbox's identity was its community and the connections that are made in that gaming space. That is why people feel so strongly and have these emotional connections to Xbox, in my opinion, because you can point to so many Xbox fans that have made friends on Xbox Live, like actual lifelong friends.
Yeah.
To me, Xbox's identity is connecting people and its community more so than whatever exclusives. Like when I think of PlayStation's identity, I think of exclusives. When I think of Xbox's identity, I think of multiplayer and social
interactions. Yep.
And your friends list shows that. Like I don't know about you guys. Like if I look at my friends list, I have way more friends that I engage with on Xbox than I do on my PlayStation. Like, and it's just always been that way for as long as generations. Like I remember sitting up, of course, you burn your CD onto your 360. And I'd be sitting there.
I'm sure you have no idea what you're talking about, sir. But continue. Go ahead.
But I'm playing Fallout 3, chatting with my homeboy. He's playing Fallout 3, and we're just walking around, experiencing different things, music, like talking. Like it was just Aegis Wings. Alien. What was the other one? No, Castle Crashers. Like I just remember playing these things and always being mic'd up, but that was never the case for me
for PlayStation.
PlayStation. Like
even
that's
though
just
by and large there's a larger install base, for some reason Xbox has always been the social platform versus
for me,
which has been a bit more of isolated. I feel similarly. I've had every single console up until now, and like you, my Xbox social count is much larger than the PlayStation. It always has been. It is what it is. Yuzu Ichikawa, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, deep dish is not what Chicagoans eat. We eat the square slices. Look it up. So stop with that slander there, Mr. Everborn Saga.
So what he's saying is you don't even like your own pizza.
Oh, see, he just
and then they mad at me.
Let it go. Refuses to let it go. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here. I see a lot of folks in the chat. If you haven't done so, please hit that like button. Consider being a subscriber here. We're on the march to 3K subs. We are so close. I can taste it. Please help us get there. We appreciate y'all. And you know what? Let us flip this thing around. We've been having this great conversation. Let's talk a little bit about some games that we have been playing before we get into all the other things. Baron, you are our guest. I know what you're going to say, so go ahead and tell the people what has been addicting your life for the last couple of weeks.
It's messed up my backlog journey to no end. Call of Duty. Black Ops 6, Call of Duty is back. Call of Duty is here. The toxicity levels are wonderful. And it's just and then the taking hostage factor has made the toxicity go up astronomically. It's so beautiful. I don't know how to. I feel like I'm playing Black Ops 2, and I'm playing just as much, if not more. I have days in this game. I'm almost to Prestige 4, and yeah, it's sickening. I have a problem. I'm doing dailies. I don't think last time I did dailies like this was Destiny 1. Like I do dailies. I change out my kit to make sure to get my dailies right. Like it's back. It is so back. And then so mixing in a bunch of the other games, like I've been playing UFO 50. I've been getting my butt kicked in that. I've been playing oh my god, Mirthwood. I've been playing Dragon Age, the Veilguard. Thank you, EA Creator Network. Got to pay the bills. And then what else? Midnight Suns. I've been playing that on my Rocket Lie.
Nice. A lot of people playing that on handheld. Interesting. Okay.
It feels great. It looks great. And then for you, if anybody in the chat is a Marvel nerd, please, for the love of God, go play Midnight Suns, even if just for the lore. Like the fact that in the first, I think, 30 minutes of the game, Fing Fang Foom is talked about.
Yeah. Like, true.
Like it's like, please, if you're a Marvel nerd,
if you've always wanted to play a Marvel dating sim, this is you. This is you. It's good.
Oh man, Midnight.
If you want to see Blade be super thirsty, like, oh man.
Hey, bad man, the book club, like, hey, bro, we know why he created that book club.
It's a good game too. It's a good game. It really is. I'm saying that, tongue in cheek. People are gonna be like, huh? Yeah. Like it goes to many directions. It's really good on the gameplay, really good on the story. But yeah, it's also a dating sim. And yes,
100%.
You have Blade pining for some. We'll leave that.
Yeah.
Yes,
he's working hard.
Pretty funny. It's very funny. I love that.
The dialogue is amazing. The world is fun, and it doesn't feel too far of a stretch. Like it seems like something that would happen in a a comic book world. Like, and I know that's cheap, but it feels grounded within the Marvel universe. There you go. That's a good way to say it. Like nothing feels out of place.
Yeah.
Like, wait, why would so and so do that? Like they would never. Like I feel like comic book nerds can truly sit down and enjoy this world.
That's why that game was some years ago. But every once in a while, like 3-6 months won't go by until you hear somebody else referencing playing it now. I've heard that game consistently since release. Like
I blame Cognito.
It went. Cognito has been talking
Cognito,
about it.
I blame him.
It a bit. That's right. Like, and consistently, you see more people like discovering it and going, "Yo, this is like really, really good." Like, it has a long tail. I wonder what the sales will look like for that game. I bet it like people still buying it consistently now.
And like I have it digitally. I got it free on Epic. I bought it. I got it for I think somebody was giving it out and gave me a digital copy. And then I'm gonna buy a physical copy Black Friday. Like I'm gonna buy one because I know I'm gonna find an Ultimate Edition for like $20 somewhere, and I'm gonna buy it.
There you go. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that game. That game has lived on my hard drive for a long time. As folks that on this chat, on this channel know, I sip games like fine wine. I could play it for years. That is a game that you will come back to for many years, and it's always giving you something new. Excellent game, like really, really good, really good. Yeah, a good smattering of games there, sir. Appreciate you. That's great. And unlike us, you are going hard on that Call of Duty Black Ops multiplayer. You haven't even played the campaign yet, right?
At all. I haven't loaded it up, haven't touched. I can't name the characters. I don't know what's going on.
So you don't know that Everborn Saga puts in an Oscar-worthy performance in the campaign.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Man.
Do I have to bring up Captain Keys in the Halo series?
No, you don't.
Bro,
because
bro.
You don't.
I was going to ask for your autograph when I seen you in person, but I was trying to be respectful of your time.
So
you don't
fiction, and you was actually the lead character.
Sir,
he was holding it down.
Y'all are bad. Y'all are bad for that one. Anyway. Real quick. Yuzu Ichikawa again with a $10 super chat this time. He says, if it isn't Honkai Star Rail or Zzz, then what are you doing?
That's
triple Z's. Yes.
Endless Zone Zero.
Zone Zero. I know.
And you have kids, you learn these things.
I've actually played Zenless Zone Zero, which I thought was very weird. But anyway, they have bikini babes and backward hats girls.
Oh,
true. Oh, this whole thing is like this week. I delved into some waters that I hadn't delved into before. We could talk about that later. Anyway,
what he's telling you is that he turned off safe search. Now the thing is
that is not true. What have you been playing, sir?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I am talking to you.
Okay, so because I have been sick literally all week, I have not turned on a PC or a handheld or anything.
Oh, you're bad.
Not played any because right now I'm literally sitting in the dark because my eyes are like. If I turn the lights on,
look, making my bones hurt.
Yes, but when I am playing games, I was gonna say the funny thing is, Baron, is I do, and anyone, because my gamer tag across any gaming platform is Everborn Saga, so everyone can look this up. I do not play multiplayer games. People see me online all the time. It is never. I'm never in a party chat. I exclusively play single player games and campaigns of multiplayer games. This is why whatever they do in Halo Infinite that is not a campaign expansion means nothing to me.
So it's dead to him too. You see what I'm saying?
That Halo has not been around since 2021.
Right? Me too.
So and I'm gonna finish I'm playing whenever I get back to it, Dragon Age. But when I'm done with that, I'll probably go to Indiana Jones and then I'll get back to the Call of Duty campaign. But yeah, no multiplayer at all. So it's always interesting to see the people that you know what it is. I need to, because my time is very limited, right? I need to feel like anything I'm playing has a beginning, middle, and end. So I have to weigh, all right, I'm gonna sacrifice 2-3 hours of sleep tonight to get to where. It can't just be this sounds weird, but it can't just be because I'm having fun.
Mr. Everborn Saga is Mr. Ain't nobody got time for this stuff. Gamer.
No, you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt, but
please.
So shout out to Geek Life Mike over at G Style Magazine. He started the whole Backlog Barbarians thing.
Also, shout out to Geek Life Mike because he came to see me at Comic-Con.
That's what I'm talking. Hey,
that's great.
Geek Life Mike, for those who don't know, is one of the realest dudes out here. He is at all the events, and if he tells you he's going to be somewhere, he will be there. And man, much love to that guy. But he started the whole Backlog Barbarians, and it's actually changed the way I game. Because okay, put it this way: my first run around with Midnight Suns, I never left New York. I just kept running side missions over and over and harvesting resources, and that's just the way I game. Like if there's crafting, I'm crafting. Yeah. If there's side quests, I'm side questing. But now I'm running main story. I'm like, this is why it takes me forever, if ever, to beat a lot of games because I get so caught up in the fun side quests. Well, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, I feel like is an action RPG made for the busy gamer. I don't know if the pacing slows down at some point because I'm still collecting all the characters to use, but this game it's moving. It has
the clip.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic point because this year the last game I finished was Space Marine 2. What I loved about it was it had that sort of 360 energy where it was actual levels, right? So you go on a mission, that mission's going to take you 1 to 2 hours to complete, and then that's it. And the way my schedule is set up, that's perfect for me because I could jump in, say, I'm going to beat this mission tonight, and I'm going to call it a day and do the next one tomorrow or whenever. Dragon Age is like you go on a quest, and quests are basically designed like levels, right? So you can come in and say, I'm going to do whatever is the quest in front of me tonight. I'm going to play for 1, 2, 3 hours, maybe, depending on the quest. And then that's it. And I don't have to feel like there's no logical cutoff point to where I'm up at 5 in the morning, right? A half hour before I got to get up. So, because that is what happened to me with a lot of RPGs where it's like, all right, I'm playing, but there's no real like, okay, what there's no real like, all right, this is the save point to where I get off. You just keep playing. I like that Dragon Age is designed in a way where I can pick it up, do a quest. That quest is going to take me between 1 and 3 hours, and then just put it down. And then the next time I'm ready to play through another quest.
And every session has worth. Like I don't ever feel like I'm wasting time.
I agree.
It's like a mini story in that session. I didn't realize that that's what draws me to it, but you now that you say it out loud, it makes perfect sense, and I'm sure it was done that way on purpose.
So, gentlemen, let's move on quick. And we're still talking games. A couple games came out this week that I kind of want to touch on a little bit. I would want to talk about Flight Simulator because I am a big Flight Simulator fan. I have a HOTAS at the bottom over there. I love saying that. HOTAS. Have that at the bottom over there, and I plug it in. You know, I'm not going as hard as the brother, the Black Viking, got the whole setup. But I like to play a little bit, and it's got a VR ability, so you can put your headset on, and now you're in that world. I would like to tell you how much fun I'm having.
Let me ask you a question before you ask this. Before you get into this,
okay.
Should Flight Sim go to PlayStation?
I think Flight Sim shouldn't go anywhere until they fix the damn game.
Well, there's that.
The reason why I can't show you any footage is because it would have just been the loading screen for like 30 minutes, which is
I'm going to answer my own question and say. If we're strategically choosing what goes where, I think Flight Sim is a good candidate that would not harm the brand in the same way other games go.
So while I don't disagree with Mr. Everborn Saga Baron, I will say he tends to say that about games and properties he doesn't care about or doesn't play. He tends to do that.
I like Killer Instinct, to do that. And I think Killer Instinct should also be everywhere.
I've never seen you play Killer Instinct like ever.
That is besides the point. You can go look up my history. I told you that Everborn Saga, I don't hide my game played in my hours. You can look that up.
He will gladly throw in the bushes anything he does not necessarily have a love or like a passion for. He'd be like, oh yeah, that one, yeah, that can go there. That's fine.
Y'all can have that. I feel like in this day and age, especially after that talk we had about like our kids and the future of gaming, anything multiplayer, just drop it everywhere.
Just drop it. That's
right. Just drop
it
everywhere. Yep. Like that's the world we live in now. Like it looking at my kids, man, just look at the youth. I knew Fortnite was going to be big when I went to a restaurant and every kid was watching a Fortnite video. Every kid I walked past, they're watching a Fortnite video. I was like, oh, this is the game. Like it can't fight the wave, man. Look,
indeed. So yes, I will say I was going to show you footage of Flight Sim, but I don't want to show you me waiting in line for 30 minutes. It was ridiculous. They need to fix that thing. And even when I finally did get in, lots of stuff is broken. Lots of stuff is not ready for prime time. It will eventually be an awesome game. It looks amazing. I did get a chance to fly over the Sphinx for a quick minute.
Oh, nice.
And it looks like they finally filled in the back if you played the original Flight Sims, like they're pulling in map data, and obviously maps are flat. So like everything looks flat when you get too close. Now they've filled all that in, and it is considerably an upgrade, if even compared to the flight sim that came out not too long ago. You can definitely tell.
You know what's
that
interesting about that?
To be a new iteration. Yeah.
That flight sim was, I guess, because like people had missed it for so long. But the last flight sim, the 2020 flight sim, 94 meta.
Yeah.
Hailed as one of the greatest simulators ever made.
Which it is.
Genre.
Which it is. Absolutely. It is not even a simulation game. It's a simulation like instruction manual. Right. Is what that thing is.
But it sounds like this one is better in every way. And
it is better in every way. Yes.
And
when it works.
Well, because it's broken like extensively. Like right now, no one can see the forest for the trees because you can't just walk in and play. Like your old purchases you made in the marketplace. The marketplace that's coming soon in the new version. There's stuff that is not baked yet. They should have delayed it. Basically, they should have delayed it, right? And instead, they're doing the we'll release it and then incrementally fix it over time thing, which we all know how we feel about that. I'm not a big fan of that. So that is why I think this version will get penalized. But to your point, Everborn, by and large, people loved that one, the first one, and every bit of criticism they gave it was it is a perfect simulator. It is a perfect flight instruction vehicle, but it's not a game. Gamify it. Give me some games. They're giving you games in this one, right? Oh, you can go and fly Diddy for his weekend tryst to go do some things. You can
one of the things that I did.
You could do a lot of stuff like that.
First, not the first, but the last flight.
You can fly celebrities around over the weekend.
When there was a storm, you could get in a plane.
You could fly into it. Yes, yes. I live in Florida. When the storm was overhead, when it was coming close, I could jump into flight sim and in real time because it uses real time telemetry.
Yeah,
like you can see the storm that is in real life coming towards you. You can fly into it.
Full dive tech is on the way. Let's go. Yes. I'm trying to put on my headset and link start. Let's go.
Yeah. No. and I put on the VR headset and you're like in the storm. It's crazy. Like, so it definitely deserves credit, but as of right now, it is not ready for prime time and it is unfortunate. So I can't show you footage of that. And then there's also Stalker 2. Now, I did play Stalker 2. I do, I will. Let me put some footage up on for Stalker 2. I did play Stalker 2. But here's the thing with Stalker 2. And Baron, you say you love Stalker 2. I appreciate it. Well, I had been warning folks from day one. This is not your 4-quadrant. Everybody loves it. Oh, power fantasy. It is gonna beat your butt if you're not careful. And man, oh man, that is this game.
Dark Souls of shooters for sure.
It is great. It is fun. If you're into those kind of games, I will tell you from default, from jump, I don't tend to be. If you tell me that I have to watch my food intake, you've lost me. Right. I appreciate it. I can understand.
Easy mode that does.
That turns all that off. But you know what they do? They'll tell you, hey, like right at the beginning of the game, they'll say, hey, these are your choices. And if you choose easy, they'll go, why not? This is a method that helps you understand the story. But when you've had your fill of that, and this literally says it at the bottom of the text before you choose it, why not go to medium? So that it shows you how hard the zone, how brutal and unforgiving the zone can be. Our vision as it was intended.
That is
no gamer
playing off your ego. They're like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I mean, you could play easy if you soft. I get it. You don't built for bodies. I know.
See, Barrett and I were having this chat beforehand. We are the guys that refuse to make any configuration changes to our controllers because we want to be default. Right? So if you tell me the game is played medium or played normal or whatever, even if I know it's going to beat the hell out of me, I got to try it because this was the default vision. So, boy, did I get my butt handed to me.
Let me tell you right now, I'm probably not going to get to this game until early to mid-January just because of what's on the backlog.
Yep.
However, I'm telling everyone here right now, in hand to
Journalist
God,
mode.
right? It is going to be easy
Journalist
gonna
mode.
play it on, and obviously, as I do with every FPS game, I'm going to invert the
you see,
y-axis.
see, he's Mr. Excuse me while I go into the settings and make the changes. See, I told you. This is
Now, normally I play games on normal, just whatever. I don't mess with that setting. That is what I do for 99% of games.
But when the shooters show up,
not shooters. Not shooters. Don't do that. I'm saying specifically this.
Okay. Why specifically this?
Because I am not in. I don't like survival games, right?
Okay.
Survival sims. Like I don't want to manage all of that. Now, if I could keep the enemy difficulty normal, but not have
and
to
then
deal
turn all the
with,
other stuff off,
exactly. If they had accessibility settings that allowed me to do that, I would do that. I don't need to turn the difficulty down, but I don't.
I just need to disable certain things. Yep. Mr. Wolf has a recommendation for you on that. If you're on the PC, that is called WeMod. That is called WeMod, where you can turn off certain aspects of the game. I see you there, Mr. Wolf. Good job. So there you go. I would say I put about 35 to 30 minutes into this game so far. Very, very early into the game. Like I've heard mixed reports about the graphics and all of this. So far, what I've played is pretty great. It looks great.
Let me ask you guys a question.
It is what I expected it to be. Yeah, what you got?
In terms of controls, we're talking about first-person shooters, right? There are other things I changed besides inverting the y-axis. What, and this is for the whole chat, instinctually, what is your melee button?
Oh,
I think you're on mute.
Baron, you might be on mute. We don't hear you. Oh. While we wait for his, still don't hear you.
Wait a minute.
While we hear you, for me, the melee button is the click in of the L3 button, the R3 button.
That was the wrong
mic check.
That is gear.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, that's Halo, man. That's Halo. The you click in the button. Go ahead, Baron.
So I made the adjustment for, I forgot which Call of Duty I was playing, but I swapped it to tactical. So as much mess as I talk, I actually play tactical and shooters now because I like to slide. And so melee for me is now B.
Thank you.
See, like to go into the settings and
we just bonded, but then I thought about it. I was like, oh no, when it comes
I
shooters, I switched to tactical. I do go in and I forgot which shooter it was that pushed for that. That pushed me towards that. But now anytime I play a shooter, I usually swap to that. I hate when the jump button is the interact button. And that's thank you, EA, but that's a shout to y'all. Because I just wanted to grab the pot, but now I'm jumping over the ledge. But yeah, no, I do make adjustments. My bad,
all right,
y'all.
I'm gonna tell you what I do for every game, and I actually I judge games that don't have this as the default. But right stick pressing that as the button, that should be your duck.
Yes.
That is what it's supposed to be, duck.
That's what
right.
Okay.
B should be melee. Y should always be to switch your weapon.
Okay.
X should always be to interact and reload.
And A should always be jump.
Obviously, A is always jump. And then R button should be to throw your grenade.
Yep.
Right.
So,
we know
the Halo method, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what controls are meant to be. Anyone trying to change that is just because they're trying to be different and special. But you're not different and you're not special, and nobody likes you.
Nobody likes you.
Go home, Roger.
I don't.
You work at the DMV or the post office, and no one likes you. Okay, nobody wants those buttons. But anyway.
I don't like. Look, I have because everyone likes to be special. I always make it a point, like I was saying to Barry before. I always make it a point to basically get used to whatever control scheme there are. So I don't have a required control scheme in my head, but I hear you. It makes things complicated and confusing. Do you know the divide I cannot traverse when I play Switch games? When the B button becomes the acknowledge button, right? Like I've always been proud to be able to play it the way it should be played and not modified, but I can do that on one platform. Oh, you make this button this and that button that. I'm fine. I'll do that. But then as soon as I play the Switch, my brain turns gobbledygook and I start hitting B instead of A all the time. And yes, so I hear you. Didn't PlayStation not too long ago add a feature in the settings of the PlayStation that lets you modify not only like a preference being performance versus quality or whatever, but also modify the control layout so every time it is exactly the same?
Thank you.
And it references it for every game. Am I wrong in that? I thought they did that, right? PlayStation allows
they may
you to
have
do that.
done that. Also,
Yeah.
I just want to say, shout out to everybody that works at the DMV and the post office. Those are great jobs. I didn't mean that. That wasn't
Yeah,
like
don't be that dude. Don't be that dude. That's right. Don't be.
But if you do like your controllers, other than the way I suggested, you are a horrible human being. I think you do a good job.
Man, oh man.
He's like, let me just go ahead and broad stroke that one. Like this.
So because you did that, I got this for you. Floodzilla with a $2 super chat. He says you will still get your A double dollar signs whooped in easy mode, homie.
Man.
So there you go.
And he is probably right.
Oh yeah, he's been playing it for many hours, so he knows.
You know what's funny? They do a thing, and I know since you're clearly in the beginning, what's it called? They do that whole test. Like, is this the game you want to play? And they introduce one of the most difficult enemies in the game within the first, the first enemy you fight is one of the most difficult. And they so it'll be clear whether or not you're gonna have a good time.
Whether you can hang or not.
Yeah.
That's right.
Here's my thing with that, right? You can't be doing things like that while Metaphor and Call of Duty and Dragon Age and all of these other games are out right now, and you want to put an annoying boss at the beginning of your game. That is the quickest way for me to be like, all right, I'll get to this later.
But I'm gonna say this: that by them doing that, that's why I said there earlier, this is the Dark Souls of shooters. Like 100%. Like they are making it very clear, and I'm glad they didn't Skyrim this, even though I love Skyrim. But the difference between Oblivion and Skyrim is yeah, and I'm glad they didn't do that from Call of Pripyat to this. Like they really they just gave it a makeover. Like you're playing like
so you understand what I'm saying when I say console gamers, prepare yourselves. This is not what you think it is. Like it is, you know, they do have indicator markers as to where you're going, but you got to find how to get there. They do have certain indicators, but they leave a lot of it to you as a gamer to figure out. And in the world we live today, that is rare. It used to be commonplace, but this is increasingly becoming rare. And I have a feeling it may turn off a lot of gamers because they're gonna they have certain expectations, right? So yes, it looks good. And I even played it on the Xbox. I tried it on the Series X.
That's what I've been playing on.
Plays great, you know, but be careful.
I will say that I almost uninstalled it because I had the only hiccup I had was, but it was a big one. My screen went black like I was playing a PC game. It blacked out. Like, but my Xbox was still on, my controller was still on. There was no noise or anything. It just froze and I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to install this because I would hate for the game to cook my Xbox. You know, you hear horror stories, and I'm like, wait a minute, like, is this what's going on?
So
I've never seen it.
Did it end up working?
I left it for a second. I was getting ready to Google if anybody else experienced this, and then it kicked back on like normal, and then I just kept playing. But yeah, man, when I seen that blacked out screen for
that's dangerous.
I was like, wait a minute, is this about to cook my Xbox? I got nervous, legitimate. I was ready to uninstall and just leave it until I see an update or a patch.
Okay.
I did that with like, what was it, Cyberpunk, with the whole inventory thing. Like I just left the game alone until I sat out.
And that game is amazing now. It's really good now. Yeah. Okay. Now, final thing I want to talk about for our games, and that'll transition us to some news stories that we want to get to. I know I got to keep your time in mind.
Yeah, my bad.
By the way, when you're ready, if you need to, please let us know. It's all good. We appreciate any time you have available for us. So, tried Flight Sim, didn't go so well. Tried Stalker 2, which I like, but it's not my go-to game because you gotta be cool with banging your head against the wall sometimes. And Umbra's asking the question. He asked for me in the panel, does Stalker 2 look like it visually downgraded, or what did I expect? Certain cutscenes still really have that visual flair, but as you move through the world, you can see, not a downgrade, but you can see that in order to keep frame rates high, in order to keep it consistent, they're not throwing so many bells and whistles at it. You might call me biased, you might call me what you call me. At the end of the day, they basically built this game in the middle of a war zone. Whatever they built, I'll allow it. I want to see it for what it is, and then we'll make our determinations. I think that so far what I've played of it is super interesting. We'll see if I'll be able to keep up with it. Because it is hard. It's hard to kick your butt,
And I'll say for me, as I'm not a graphics junkie. I'm not a tech. Like, I mean, my monitors are about an inch. Like I got some thick monitors. Like I don't have the tech to fully take advantage of all the things that these. That's okay. But look, I was about to go off on a tangent, boy, but I had to catch myself. But no, I will say for the casual experience, just booting up and playing, this feels good. It feels good.
I think so.
Now, the only outside of that blacked out screen, one thing I did notice is, and that's maybe the way I play, but I came across some enemy NPCs out in the distance, and as I was kind of watching them and planning my attack, they kind of had the whole like cheap movement in the distance. I was like, but but that was, I mean, outside of that, I was having fun with it. I think I got about 2 hours in, and I'm having a good time with it, and I love it.
It does seem like it needs to be optimized a bit more. It needs a lot of optimizations, or so it seems, right? So I will go back to it, and I will be keeping up with it. But yeah, for now, unless you're a massive fan of that kind of genre, like I'll play it, but we'll see how far I get in. We'll see how far I get into it. I am enjoying and I am appreciating what they've built. I just want to give it. I want to give it more time before I can really determine how I feel about it. What I will talk about real quick before we get into the news is I ended up playing. So I'm a bit of a fraud. Y'all have heard me talk about Ghost of Tsushima on this show many times. I love that game. I've played it on multiple PlayStations, including on PC. But what I hadn't done is played the Iki Island DLC. I hadn't done it. I don't know why I hadn't done it. So when PlayStation went, hey, Portal users, you now have the ability to cloud stream from the cloud to your device without the need of the PS5. What did I do? I loaded up Iki Island and I played it. Here's what it looks like. As you can see, there's two choices instead of one. You can go into that one, and then you hit the button, and what will it do? It will populate it with multiple games. I think 100 and some odd games from the PlayStation ecosystem. Lots of games to try, and they all just load when you hit the button. So I think we can transition. Yeah, it's a good list. Too.
How's the latency?
Let's talk about that a bit. So it's a 1080p screen, right? 1080p screen. Plays great. It's the ergonomics are fantastic. It is just, you're right there. Absolutely. Even though I'm Mr. Inline is not my favorite. I like Mr. Offset. That's why I tend to be an Xbox gamer. But still, this feels really good to play. When you're playing it, at least in my house, pretty decent internet, I had a few graphical glitches. Just a few. Just a little bit of but by and large, like, we live in that world now. Like, the world that PlayStation will not speak on but exists, aka no PlayStation, no problem. Oh yeah, we live in that world now. Like I played the Iki Island DLC for almost 2 hours.
Wait a minute.
Marketing.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
It almost sounds like, and I need everybody to correct me if I'm wrong. There's no PlayStation needed.
This is my point.
It's again, Xbox takes the punches, and then PlayStation rides the wave.
Now wait a minute. Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on. Where else can you access these games, these PlayStation games, besides their own?
You can also access most of them. You can access on PC.
Very
few of them cannot be accessed.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
There he goes.
Because now I'm confused.
No, it's the truth. I love this.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
So are you saying that your PC
is a
PlayStation?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Hold on.
What about the mobile?
Whoa. Yes. If you wanted to play PlayStation games on a phone, just work with me here. You want to play PlayStation games on a phone? Is that possible?
Absolutely, it is. Well,
wait, hold on. Do
remote
you
play it is possible
on tablets?
Do you need a PlayStation to do that?
Yes, you do. Still, you do.
All right.
That you still need a PlayStation 2.
Okay, the world still
the only
device makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, the only device that's able to play PlayStation 5, and so far the library is limited to PS5 games, or at least PS5 versions of the games. They are now PS4 or PS3 versions of these games here, but as you can tell, it has a big beta sign on it. Over time, it will mature, right?
Yep.
But it is quite good. It's quite good.
It's like a beta pass.
Oh
yeah, yeah. This is PlayStation's Fire Stick.
And you know what's so amazing? That price point, that especially right before the holidays, making that update right before the holidays, it's going to be hard as hell to come across one of those.
So Baron, thank you for bringing that up, because that transitions lovely into a conversation that I wanted to have. Right when this thing first came out, and people know me as the tech guy, we always talk in the background about all the various speeds and feeds and this and that and the third. People kept asking, is it worth the $200 price tag?
It is now.
Initially, I was like, nope, it's not. Why? Because even in my experience, where I'll bring a Steam Deck or I'll bring some other mobile device, if I'm out and on a work trip or something like that, and then I have like an outage in my house, right? And now when I connect into my PlayStation, maybe my PlayStation's off and you have to go manually turn it on. If you lost connection to your PlayStation, now this thing is a paperweight for your whole trip. It's useless for $200. Absolutely useless. So I was like, this is ridiculous. It needs to be more capable beyond just the remote aspects of PlayStation. And then, of course, they just announced this, right? So now is $200 worth it? I think it's more in the worth it direction. Now you wanna make me do backflips and start like grabbing the pom poms and doing the shake? Drop it by $50. Make it $150. Now we're talking stocking stuffer.
Look,
we're talking impulse purchase, right?
I might grab one at $150 on rip.
That's right, right. But even as it is today, if you do have a PlayStation Plus subscription, because that's unfortunately some of the nature of the beast here, I have a PlayStation Plus subscription.
Same.
If you have that, it makes this thing far more useful and usable and worth consideration now, right? I see Aaron, I see you in the chat. He says 99 and I'll consider it. At 99, I say run, don't walk, go grab one immediately. Immediately. This thing becomes one of the greatest devices ever for $99. And maybe there's a Black Friday deal in our future that will get it there, right? But I think anything $150, you are righteous because of this update specifically. Because let's be clear, it's not like, oh yeah, it's now just capable and that's it. You still have to have a subscription service. That subscription service isn't cheap. Let's be real, right?
Not at all.
But making it useful and usable beyond just remoting into a PlayStation, right? Throw some entertainment apps in there, maybe Netflix, maybe something like it is now far more of a mobile gaming thing without necessarily having to be beholden to your plastic box at home with this update. So I'm here to not say I was wrong, but say that with this update, it is now a high recommend on my part. And if you see this at any discounted rate, be under $200, run, don't walk, and buy both of them. Buy two. It's really good. It's really, really good. You know. So yeah, I don't know, Baron. Go ahead, everyone. You were gonna say, yeah.
Pixelbit G in the chat says, "Can it work with AR glasses?"
Sir, that is one thing they've done that I still think is a bit of an insult. It does have a USB-C port, but it's a very limited USB-C port. Yes, it has a USB-C port, but they only use it for power delivery, and they've limited it on purpose. So in other words, like you can't even like play music from it. Like, because, you know, USB-Cs are multi-use devices. They have specifically limited it and then put a headphone jack next to it. So you can't use it for anything but power delivery, including you can't output it to something else, aka VR glasses. Can't do that, right? They specifically limited it that way. If they didn't, you could have plugged in a USB-C like Bluetooth and then had a Bluetooth headphones connected to it. And they don't want that. They want you to buy that expensive PlayStation version. So they limited the USB-C port to only power delivery. So that's unfortunate.
So,
what you gotta do.
Yeah. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not on the streets of X or Blue Sky as much as I used to be. Or should be. But I did not see any PlayStation fans complaining that a PlayStation 5 is not required to play PlayStation games.
You know,
I didn't see anybody.
Why do you think?
You know why that is? Because they didn't tweet out no PlayStation, no problem. That's why.
I see.
It's messaging. You got to make people feel good about the crap. And they don't. And look, man, let's just be real. They usually deliver bad news and then let it just sit. And then they'll deliver great news and then they'll hit you with bad news and let it just sit. But PlayStation, they'll just do some stuff and not even acknowledge it out loud.
Nothing to see here.
They'll let IGN say it, but they won't come out and tweet about it. But they just said no PlayStation, no problem.
Basically,
that's what that is.
And for those who always come out and say we don't know what we're talking about, we always say don't listen to what PlayStation says. Look at what Xbox did last year, because that's what PlayStation's gonna do.
Yep,
they won't say it, but they're gonna do it, and just like this, consistency.
All I'm saying is maybe, just possibly, the Xbox tax doesn't only come from the media. Maybe
absolutely.
All is coming from inside the house. That's all I'm saying. But we can keep going.
I'm with you, because because it can't be on accident. Like we can't be super geniuses. It can't just be three super geniuses sitting here. Like, come on.
Very possible.
Hey. I say three super geniuses sitting here. I don't know about you.
Okay, wait a minute.
I hear common sense is not so common. I don't know.
There is at least two super geniuses here. And we can fight about who the odd man out is.
Yeah, that's true. The super geniuses all have cameras, but we'll keep it moving. All right.
I was gonna say the super geniuses enjoy pineapples on pizza.
Oh yeah, sure.
But hey,
sure.
He's a kettle corn hater. We gotta watch it.
Damn kettle corn. Anyway,
exactly. He uses the right joystick to melee, so we really can't mess with it.
But on this topic of this story, I will say, you said no one is talking about it. Some people did catch wind. It's not like the mainstream crazy media, but I'm seeing articles like this which are saying PlayStation quietly confirms you no longer need a PS5 for PlayStation 5 games. Quietly, that quietly part is doing all the heavy lifting, because there was barely like an article written, barely a blip on the radar from a news perspective.
They definitely didn't have their PR mouthpiece tweet out that an Xbox is a PlayStation. They definitely didn't do that.
So yes, I would still advocate that if you are in the market, because we are towards the Christmas season and all of that, you know somebody. Now, all I think they need now is what Xbox hasn't done. Because we're talking about this thing, right? They already have their curated list. It's about 150 games. It's not the whole list. It's a specific list made for this platform, right? All they need to do now is give me a very cost-effective price to enter just this platform. That's all they need. Making it part of PlayStation Plus proper, I feel it's overkill. It's not something that a casual who does not have a PlayStation will want to jump into day one. Just like we were advocating when Xbox was marketing the whole jump in via the Fire Stick. Where's a Fire Stick or a cloud only subscription tier, right? This would do very well because right now I have triplet boys in my life that I would love to buy each one of these with their own subplan.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm thinking.
But it can't be PlayStation Plus Ultimate whatever, which is way too expensive for an entry level device. Because let's not get it twisted. If this is your main method of playing a PlayStation, you're entry level. You've never played before. If you are the type to love that stuff, you probably already have a console, right? You already have a controller. This is to introduce it to somebody who like maybe plays mobile every once in a while, does not really have that console life like that. This and like a $5, $6, $7 a month subscription tier would move a lot of units.
Oh yeah, it would
right?
sell
A lot of movement. This is my point. So you want this thing, and this is free. PlayStation, you want this thing to move, and every time I say this, people go, well, it's the number one selling device over the controllers and this and that. I think this could reach a critical mass far more than it has today if they drop the price by $50 and they give us a console only, a cloud only tier for this kind of device. They've done all the heavy lifting already, including even the segregation of the specific kind of curated list. It's all right here. Just give us a smaller entry point. And man, oh man, this thing, like, it would be what everybody's buying.
Yeah.
Right? Even Xbox people, even PC people, like, because it's just very easy to recommend at that price. So,
and you know what? This would be a great time to actually introduce it because you could just call it the holiday bundle and then move it into the standard way to buy it. Like, hey, you get your 3 months of the new tier of the new Portal tier. You can call it PlayStation Portal, like the Portal tier. Like it just it's in the name. Like you just
right. And all the ridiculousness that I hear PlayStation sometimes espouse, like, oh, we're gonna make PC people dip a toe and they'll come into the console. Hell no, they will not buy your console and market to the PC people. But if you have a tier like this, you might be able to get a PC person to dip into just this, because why not? It's just on here and it's that simple. It's low cost of entry. This can turn you into a PlayStation gamer. I don't know about putting Ghosts of Yotai and then going, hey man, there's another version of it on console. They won't want to go there. But on this, I can see it. Right? So
and with a low price point would be a win.
At a low price point. That's right. It's an interesting time we find ourselves. I think your assertion there that you made before is very apt here. Xbox seems to be making different moves than PlayStation, it seems to be, but they're all heading in the right direction. It just seems like Xbox maybe is not marketing at all correctly, but they're making certain interesting groundwork moves. And PlayStation is marketing like shrewdly while they're still feeling their way out. But they're all heading in the same darkness to that same focal point that eventually will be, consoles and gaming everywhere.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Even though digital is on the rise and streaming is heavy on the rise, streaming is a large portion of everything. I don't worry about the complete disappearance of the physical and the controller and the console until internet becomes a utility. Once internet becomes a utility and it becomes standard, because what people don't realize, I live in California. There's places in California where internet is hard to get. And this is California. You know what I mean? You think California, you think high tech, you think advanced, and then you got people who got to go to libraries to get updates, like, because that's the only stable internet around. I still have telephone, we still got wires. I got a telephone pole in the back. We barely got within the last 3 years, we got fiber. Like AT&T came through like it was FEMA and ran lines throughout the whole city. Like, no, this happened like real time. I watched it. And it's so trippy that in the year of our Lord 2024, this is still a thing. So I think this is a great product, or it could be a great product, but I feel like people still ignore how internet is not what it could be.
I think people get comfortable in their own purchase where it's decent, and they assume they can extrapolate it to the entire country or the entire world. And situations, if you've spent enough time in rural areas and even New York City, I've spent some time in New York State where you're paying $100 to $200 a month for the equivalent of like WAP internet. Like you're barely getting 1 meg up or down.
Not to be confused with a different kind of WAP. But the thing is this.
I knew what he was talking about, but I was like, hey, wait a minute.
He walked right into that.
Talk about bargain bin internet, huh?
Clearly, I walked right into that.
I told you he turned off the safe search. All right. But the thing is this.
Yes.
We can say, look at the landscape today and say people discount where internet is and where it's going to be. What I would say is, look at where internet was a decade ago.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Sure,
what is the average speed of the person with internet?
It is a seriously viable option now, even though it can't ever be the primary only option. Right. It is much more viable now than it ever was. Yeah.
And furthermore, when you think of things that are coming around now, and it is not just Elon's Starlink, but there are many other satellite broadband providers that are lighting up parts of the world that are previously just did not have internet or just had only slow options. So once satellite becomes more ubiquitous for internet, I think some of these things that are hurdles today will not be hurdles tomorrow, because and really think about this, right? And I don't think this will be a 20-year thing, but when we first consider the first Xbox, OG, the Duke, right?
Black and white button.
Right. At that time, people thought they were crazy for putting an Ethernet port on, because they're like, not everybody has that. Most people are on dial-up, right? Sure. So to make a bet now for something that, could change in the next 5 to 10 years, like, I really don't think it is wise on any prognosticator's prediction board to write off the potential of this kind of thing.
Every time I hold this controller, I'm like, they were crazy to think this was a primary method. Like, it fits so well in my hand, but it is a monster of a controller.
Oh, yeah, they weren't playing,
like,
man.
This is a monster. Like, damn, it fits in my hand, and even it's too big for me. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, and it just
continue.
Hey man, he's batting 100, man.
I'm just saying, this is what I do on a Saturday morning. Forgive me.
Hey, but no, it just I like, honestly, it's the future is now. I mean, look at the way kids interact with school. Like, and this is why I really believe, it's completely not off topic, but random. I believe internet is closer to being a utility than not, because of the way it's integrated with kids in education.
Absolutely.
Like, my kids come home with laptops every day, and they have to charge them.
In some countries, it is 100% a utility. You are not, there is no DMV to go wait in line for. You are going on the internet and you're renewing your stuff that way. That's the only requirement. Many countries are like that today.
Listen, let's take that a step further. There are many countries that some would consider, third world or whatever, where their primary sort of finances take place on their phones.
On their phones,
right?
Absolutely.
They're using tap to pay and other things like that. And so, like, even in the most far off region of the world, I wouldn't write this stuff off. Not saying anyone here is doing that.
Yeah.
But I think the future could very well be closer than a lot of us think.
Sure, absolutely, I do. But to Baron's point, though, because it's not ubiquitous everywhere, that's why you can't write off physical, right? To this very day, even though, like, let's just be clear, even though music is at your fingertips digitally wherever you go, there are still many record stores, like many record stores I can go.
Yeah, like it's. But then again, I'm a great beard in progress. So
Hey, we appreciate you, sir. We appreciate you. No, this is good, right? So I guess it's all to say, if you for the you will pry my Duke out of my cold dead hands crowd, don't worry, no one's gonna pry it out of your hands. It's gonna be there.
I could make a joke about that one too, but I'm not gonna do that. Go ahead.
Oh my god!
This man.
Hey, home runs home runs. This man's a legend.
Well done, sir. Well done. Well done. Yes, that's right. Let us pause the innuendo talk for a moment for some of these super chats real quick. Oh boy. Anyway, Victor Allenstein, $5 super chat. He says, if Nintendo's handheld comes with a camera and supports apps, won't it be more like a phone and a social media magnet for TikTok and similar apps? I don't see that you're wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Let's be real. The Switch is a phone without phone capabilities anyway, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of go in that direction because they know their audience. Unless their audience to them is still the young ones. But by now, the Switch lovers are teenagers. So if you add a camera in there and you really go full bore in the social media direction, you'll be capturing a bunch of the teenagers, which might be Nintendo's MO.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm telling you right now. Telling you right now. I see the appeal of that, but as a parent,
oh hell
there
no!
is
Oh
zero
I would hate that. I would hate that.
I wouldn't get it. No,
I would hate that.
The way I would fling that device across the street if somebody brought that home, just like a home run.
Hell no. Yeah, hell no. I'm not doing it.
You heard me about Roblox. Like, it's just not happening. So I can only imagine. Oh
yeah, absolutely. And on the Roblox topic, I know people, both friends and others I've known, who've had their accounts hacked, who've had adult males talking to their children in various chats and things like that, and it's all via Roblox. Oh hell no!
Yeah, I refuse.
That's what we saying, right? Lucius Augustus, $5 super chat. He says, imagine working for Dell and wearing an HP hoodie or saying HPs are just Dells. That person would have been fired yesterday in any other industry. I don't disagree with that one, sir. I don't disagree with that one.
I would argue, and he's not wrong, but again, devil's advocate.
Okay.
If a Dell worker wore an HP shirt, no one would care. It's only because in this pocket of the internet that we find ourselves in our special gaming community, which I know and love, that we care about things like that.
Well, okay. So I will quickly say, as a person who used to work in those worlds that you're describing right now, actually the opposite happens when you work for them. You walk into a Best Buy and you go, yeah, I used to work for them. Don't buy that. Don't buy that. Just saying. You were going to say, Barrett.
No, it just, man. Somebody brought up a point yesterday while I was streaming. They were like, hey, this is a new form of entertainment. We're still in the infancy, like in terms of music, movies, play, theater. Like this is one of the newest forms of entertainment, and we're still filling out this world. And it's we're watching the building blocks of it. I forgot who it was. Shout out to him. Absolutely. And I was like, this is damn. That's a good point.
And you know it because every time you have internet people coming to Congress, the questions they are asked are like literally building block questions. They're literally Lego connecting questions. They're not ready for it yet. You know what I mean? We're still in its infancy. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
It's
hopefully one day we get to a place where we see a congressional hearing and somebody asks an actual like pertinent of our times question. It hasn't happened in my lifetime yet.
So what about your library? Like, I'm waiting for that. Like, the moment we hear that, that's when we know we've ascended.
Why is dual entitlement necessary? Like,
So I think we could see somebody like an an AOC or Miss Crockett ask a question like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Or Jamal Bowman. But he no longer has his job. But Slow-Mo in the chat says the Duke was trash, and I knew it. I knew, Slow-Mo, you don't have taste. You just proved it.
Hold on. We can't go that far. Look what he just said. Look, we can't go that
he
far.
also did live a $2 super chat and said, Baron is that dude. Awesome guest. He has some taste.
Broken clocks. Broken clocks.
Slow-Mo, love you, bro.
Damn. He said broken clocks. Okay.
All right, wait. Slow-Mo, I want to ask a question. Have you watched Dune Prophecy yet?
Oh, don't do this. Don't do this. They're going to start a war. They're going to start. No, don't do this. I actually have it waiting to be watched.
The answer is he hasn't watched it yet. And he's the biggest Dune stan that I know. And that
tells you everything, right?
Saying Jesus.
But, he has to remind us that he has taste.
let us
if you have
on.
to remind people that you have taste, sir.
Maybe you don't.
Okay.
Wow. You see, this is what I'm telling you. He's bringing on the war, and here we go. Baron, you haven't even seen the worst of it. Slow-Mo created an icon, like a logo that he uses when he comes on this show that shows Sonic holding a sign saying, "I will work for food. I am homeless."
Wait, we actually need to discuss this. We need to discuss this because this is actually very funny. Slow-Mo has had that
for a long time.
For a very long time. And it came out this week in the news by a lore master that is employed by Sega. That Sonic
is homeless.
Well, let me say it. Jesus Christ, you gotta let me say the thing. Sonic is and always has been homeless. And he had to reassure the fans that Sonic is a drifter. So Slow-Mo's will work for food sign for Sonic was actually prophetic. Believe it or not.
The future is Slow-Mo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Slow-Mo like the Simpsons predicted this. You know what I'm saying?
So Sonic is a drifter. He lives in Green Hill Zone. That's right. And he just lives off the land. But that is a paradise. Because he's an animal, and animals live outside.
It's a paradise. It's not that he's homeless.
You don't. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Amy won't date him because he got no house.
First of all, Amy is always after Sonic, and he has to push her away. He's not like Mario, where Peach is sleeping with Bowser. But anyway, the point is,
I love that meme. This is the greatest thing ever. Oh my god!
The point is, you don't say a lion is homeless, right? You don't say a monkey is homeless. You just say they live off the land. They live in the forest, right?
With his cool sneakers.
I was just about to say,
the forest.
I was gonna ask, do you think he keeps his shoes clean with the kid from the mall?
No, because he has to sometimes, go to the casino, right?
Yeah.
He has to sometimes go to places that are civilized, so he puts on shoes. But he very much has a home in the movie. Food. He very much has a home in the movie.
They needed to give him a home in the movie because you can't have a homeless protagonist. Like, come on.
So all I am saying,
we can't all be Jack Reacher. I mean, what's going on?
No, but that's the thing.
But that's basically
Sonic is the Jack Reacher of mascots. This is what I'm saying. He's a rolling stone.
We are done here. We are moving on because we are not going to continue down this Sonic ridiculousness. Thank you very much. Slow-Mo, appreciate you, brother.
Also, Slow-Mo does not know the origins of Shadow and Maria. I had to explain this to him via text the other day. Now, I will, because the movie's getting ready to come out, I will leave that for the audience to find out. But if you don't know, It's very dark. Very dark.
Almost shadow-like, huh?
Almost shadow-like, yes.
Oh man,
Yeah,
y'all it's just too much, man. Y'all is just too much right now. Anyway,
let's just say guns are involved.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to the 200 people plus watching this right now on all the various platforms we're on. Thank you so much for sticking with our ridiculousness on a Saturday morning. We are PG-13 here. We shoot lasers, not guns. Shout out to y'all for being here. Thank you so much. Consider hitting the subscribe and or the member button if you haven't done so. We are on the hunt, as I've said, and we appreciate y'all helping us get to our goal. Let's stop for a moment with all this Sonic slander, and let's talk about this real quick, because Everborn put a tweet out, and I was actually already planning on having this conversation, but we here on this show always like to talk about the Keeleys in one way, shape, or form. You've heard, most likely, if you're watching this, you're most likely one of us, and you've probably heard of the news, as it were, vis-a-vis the Game Awards and what they did and what they didn't do, the snubs, all the other thing. Nope, we're not talking about that. Instead, we're talking about the Golden Joystick Awards, ladies and gentlemen, because we have always advocated, hey, you want a show that actually spends the necessary time on the awards themselves? Maybe try other forms of gaming award shows. And the Golden Joystick just took place a few days ago. So I kind of wanted to quickly just take a bit of a moment and kind of talk about the winners and what you guys feel about it. All right, we won't spend too much time on it. They have a nice, concise list here that I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about. So we'll go through them real quickly. It's not too long.
Before we go through that, though,
speaking
of the Golden Joysticks, Ben Starr is an amazing host.
Yes, he is.
Ben Starr, this is the Final Fantasy 16 lead voice actor.
Yes, it was very fun.
He hosted the show.
It was very fun. Yeah.
Amazing.
And
he had a great time with it.
The true voice of Mario.
Absolutely. 1000%.
Yeah. He had a great time with it. It was fun. You know, they kept it entertaining, right? So the idea that the awards themselves were not the mainstay in this, the awards were the mainstay, and it still was a pretty enjoyable show to watch. As you can see on your screen, best audio design, Astrobot. I could see that. Maybe it's a bit of a cop-out, because I feel like any PlayStation game that spends real time using the DualSense like controls and whatnot gets automatically best audio design, because the combination of what comes out of your speakers versus what comes out of the controller at the same time, it makes it a unique experience.
Is that effect on the Portal as well?
It has some effect on the Portal.
Okay,
it's not
I didn't want to die
quite as pronounced.
I just thought about it because
it's not as pronounced. You're right. Yeah.
I always thought Hellblade 2 was going to be the shoe-in for audio design, just because of the way
I would think so too, right? Yeah, binaural audio. That's right. I would think so too. And actually, it is why I bring up the Golden Joystick, and that's why I kind of want to talk quickly about what the reviews are, what the results are, because I kind of have a feeling that most people were assuming that the awards would go differently if a different organization kind of led the initiative. And by and large, if you look, it's still kind of very focused in where you think it will be. You got your Astrobot winning. You got your Final Fantasy Rebirth taking a bunch of them. Helldivers 2 cleaned up in this award.
As it should.
Let me just push back on that a little bit. So
please,
the difference between the Golden Joysticks and the Keeleys is the Keeleys is more of the media's voice, right?
And this is solely
the voice of the people. Like these are the players' voice.
Yep. Anybody could
DICE is the industry voting on
the industry.
So each award has a different purpose. So when you watch the Keeleys, you know what the media is thinking. When you watch this, you know what the audience is thinking.
People are thinking.
And I think this is more in line with what we've heard people's complaints be about the Keeleys, because it's not so much what won here to me anyway, it's what was nominated, right?
Okay.
Because the biggest thing that I see people complain about is not who wins. Once you're nominated and you can be considered for a victory in a certain category, that is a win in and of itself, right?
Sure.
And so we did see a lot of the things that we thought were snubbed at the Keeleys. I mean, I would say Dice and Golden Joysticks, because there's you do want to know what the people think. Like Dice is
solely the people's voice.
Dice is the real award if you work in the gaming industry. If you don't and you are a fan, then you might want to look at this. But
sure.
But anyway, I mean, when we look at what like best ongoing game, right? Which is the still playing
it's
award.
not still playing.
Minecraft.
I mean, Minecraft. That makes such sense.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
And so to me, this was so much more.
Although console game of the year, Helldivers 2?
Yes. No. We will not.
Come on, Baron.
Do that.
Speak on it, Baron.
Let me tell you this.
I played a lot of it on PC. So
Helldivers 2 only sin was coming out in the beginning of the year. If it would have launched in September, it would be a game of the year contender without debate. If everything happened the same exact way, nothing changed, no other changes other than release date, it would be a game of the year contender without debate. You got to understand, it took over. It took over everything the same way Elden Ring did, including social media. There was whole skits.
No, true. You're right. I do recall. It feels
took
like
over everything.
The problem with Helldivers 2 is that it started on such a high, and then a few missteps kind of dropped it low. So maybe the low is what people remember, and not the high as much. I do remember
those lows were on the PC side, requiring
not on the console.
Has nothing to do with console.
Yeah,
right? Not on the console. So, you're right.
I can see that, but again, the nominees are what were important to me. So sure. Helldivers ultimately winning, I think that's fine, because the story around it and how it came together and how different it was, and the change of perspective that they decided on, and the sort of meta way that they interacted with the community, and how they brought back life into a franchise that it is not, but it pays homage to, which is Starship Troopers. All of those things just make that thing fascinating. And if you look at how many people played it, and again, it's weird because it was on PC where most of the people played it, but still, I get it. Even if I wouldn't have picked that one, I get it. I was very impressed with the choices. But what else do we have?
So okay. Let's quickly touch on some of these choices here, because I think some of it is quite interesting. And hey, best game expansion. Look at that. Look at that. What a category.
Again, how logical is it?
Wow.
This makes sense. It's almost like these people are living on the same planet as gamers, because real people voted on it. But I will say, this is based on 12 million votes. So this was not nothing. This wasn't just random people. This is a large sample set of the gaming audience.
So and Everborn, because our roots will always be on the real. I gotta ask, what do you think of best game adaptation going to Fallout? That I thought that was the battle of all battles, with Arcane in the wings, but Fallout taking that. I'm like, I've heard people pull out the fact that Fallout being able to render that Fallout vision in real life kind of took it over the edge and kind of superseded Arcane and all the brilliance that they're doing. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's more than that, because I don't really think people understand how much Fallout did for Fallout as a franchise, right? How many people it brought back into, let's say, Fallout 76, right? And they did it in a way that is all still canon.
Yes.
Right? See, unlike Arcane and other, though, they are adapting things, saying we are in this universe. And I do love that when they said Halo, the Halo TV series, they specifically said season 2.
Oh yeah, right? You're damn right.
Which I thought was great.
They were like, hey,
but again,
season two.
But again, if you look at the Knuckles show, that is canon to the Sonic movie universe, not necessarily canon to
and
Sonic
for all the slander we've given Sonic, I will say that Knuckles TV show is excellent. It's excellent. It's
And-
very
and
fun. People should watch
As
it. Yes, he is really good.
and
Yes.
as excellent as Arcane is, that is still
it is masterpiece level stuff. That show, it
right,
is
but
so
it is
good.
not necessarily
Nowhere near
it
the
is it is inspired
True.
by characters in the game, and it has its own story. It is not sort of canon to the game, and that is what was so special, in my opinion, about Fallout, was that it got people who do not even care to play video games interested in what Fallout is. It reinvigorated the franchise in the minds of the gamers, got them playing again. It is canon to the story that is Fallout in the video games, almost as though it is a sequel to the Fallout series. So being able to do all of those things, like my mom watched Fallout, doesn't know what Fallout is, and was just fascinated by it. So I just think that, and again, the top tier talent that was a part of that, I would be surprised if Fallout didn't win. I'll put it that way.
You know what?
What do you think, Baron? Yeah.
What stuck to me about Fallout and why it was such a solid choice and why that didn't surprise me at all is it did an amazing job of having things in place that only people who played the game would recognize.
Would know.
And it did it in a beautiful way without holding our hands or holding people who are outside of the space's hand. It just did it. Like showing the body parts on the Pip-Boy and showing the overall health of the Pip-Boy. It didn't explain it at all. But if you played the game, you know what they were looking at. Are seeing the stim pack, are seeing the VATS shot when they were having the shootout. Like
you knew it was made by people who actually played the game.
Yes. And it didn't, oh, this is what a VAT is. Oh, make sure to ain't like it didn't go through all that. It just respected you. It was a good show, period. Yeah.
No, I don't disagree. It's interesting.
It's a mobile game. I went back and picked up.
A lot of people play mobile games because of it.
I was like, oh man,
No, so I thought best game adaptation was super interesting. Best game trailer, Helldivers 2. I don't remember the game trailer like that bombastic. I don't know. I just think that having a game trailer category is super interesting. Like there's a lot of time and effort and energy spent on it. People remember some of the greatest game trailers of old, and it hasn't really been given a lot of attention. I think it's really cool that there's a game trailers category.
Let me ask you a question. What is let's take Helldivers out of it. What is a recent memorable game trailer?
I would say Diablo 4. Diablo 4. Diablo 4 had some really like memorable, crazy trailers.
Wait a minute. So there's a difference though, right? So you can show here's a cinematic from the game, which I would agree with you for Diablo, but as a trailer itself.
Yeah, no, you're
what
right.
Were those
you're
Diablo
right.
trailers?
Whenever we say great game trailers, the game trailers we remember, well, E-Day is a great game trailer.
There you go. I was gonna say E-Day or Expedition 33.
Yes, and
the Black Ops 6 trailers, great game trailers.
Here's one in my recent memory anyway. Fallen Order. Very good.
Had a really good game trailer. You're right. Absolutely, they did. Yeah.
Like I played the awesome. Music. Like I had to download the music from that trailer, and it's on my writing playlist. Like that's how good that trailer was.
Funny enough, when I started YouTube, that's what I started on was trailer reactions. I love trailers. Like I still randomly go back and watch the Godzilla reboot trailer. Like still, the Dying Light, not Dying Light, Dead Island original trailer.
Oh yeah,
like I love Dante's Inferno, the OG Gears of War. I'm trying to think of the trailers that really, honestly, and I still think Fallout 4, regardless of the actual end result and how people felt about the game itself, I think Fallout 4 had the best and absolute top tier rollout, and I was looking forward to all future AAA games doing that. You announce 6 months out,
and then you drop it,
and then you drop, and then you have your ads and you have your build up into your world. Then you drop a mobile game and you just like that. I thought that was going to be the future of packaged games.
That's why when Bethesda was bought by Xbox, I was excited because I was like, Bethesda, teach Xbox that.
Yes, I really,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Lucius Augustus, $5 super chat. This is really good. $5 super chat. He says, random person, why is this card game nominated for Game of the Year? WTF. Tries the game, loses 4 hours. I'd say uses 4 days of their lives. Random person. Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
And what are we talking? We're talking Balatro, which I know.
What we're talking about is the reason why I will never try Balatro and or Vampire Survivor. Because
Vampire Survivors has
it'll get you.
Vampire Survivors has an end. It can keep playing, but it has an end. I would say Balatro is Tetris in its uniqueness, in which it can be played forever and a day. It is like y'all have heard me say it on this show before. To me, Tetris is objectively one of the greatest games ever made. It can be iterated upon like. What was it? 2, 3, 4 years ago, there was a new Tetris game that
Tetris 99 or something like that.
Tetris Connected takes over the world. Tetris 99 on Nintendo takes like it can be iterated upon and always be fresh when it comes out. I believe Balatro is that style of game. Yes, they're using gambling paraphernalia. They didn't need to. It's not a card game. It looks like a card game. It's in card game clothes, but it's a Metroidvania. It's a roguelike.
Why am I scared? I have it. I'm looking at it. I have it in my PS5 right now.
So
I'm scared.
Good. Look, it is. It's chess. It's
like you can literally just like I have,
awesome. That is awesome. Yes. One of the greatest games, and I hate with a capital H card games. I'm not a card game person. The only other card game that ever got me, because I'm a Marvel zombie from way back, was Marvel Snap. But after a while, I had to get the monkey off my back because I was getting dangerously close to becoming a whale, so I had to stop that. This is an excellent card game. Like, not really card game. I wish, and the developer has already come out and said he's not really going to do this, but I wish that they would take the basis of his idea and add different IP to it. Like, I just mentioned Marvel Snap. Imagine Marvel Snap cross Balatro, where every card is a Marvel card game. Because you don't need the gambling paraphernalia to make it work. It works as a game, and the systems themselves are what you're there for. And yeah, it just happens to be using, the poker vernacular, but it doesn't need it, right? And most people don't know that because, you see it, it's a card game, it's a card game, you move on. It doesn't need the poker paraphernalia at all. It just happens to use it. But I solely believe it deserves to be in the Game of the Year conversation. What I find interesting, back to the Golden Joystick Awards, is they have Best Indie Game, which Balatro won, and then they have Best Indie Game Self-Published, which Another Crab's Treasure won. I don't know if you guys have played Another Crab's Treasure. I put about 2-3 hours in it, and then I realized that I'm not going to be a masochist. I'm not going to bang my head again. This is like a crab version of a Soulsborne game where like everyone is uber powerful beyond you. It's a goofy looking game, but it will beat your ass over and over and enjoy doing that to you. My kids were playing with me because, look at the cute little crab. Yeah, no, it is the spawn from the devil. Like it's crazy, but it's a fun game if you're that kind of gamer. I just think it's super interesting that a lot of these things got the chance to shine that you wouldn't think would get a chance to shine in other mediums. What do we think of Studio of the Year, Team Asobi for Astrobot? I don't know, Baron. Have you played Astrobot?
Got that award for not getting dissolved.
Oh, that is some.
You survived in Sony live service.
You survived the purge
with a small game.
It's hardcore savagery. Hardcore savagery. What you just put out there. Jesus Christ. Anyway, and then of course,
how did you convince Sony to make this, and then it turns out to be a masterpiece? You got to be the number one.
Evermore, we'll move on from this topic, but I want your last take on this guy, which is the lead performance. Cody Christian, which we were talking about, who's also the host of the show for Final Fantasy Rebirth. He is the protagonist. He plays Cloud, and he beat out Melina Jurgens for Hellblade 2. What do you think of that? You've played both.
I want to actually. I have not played Rebirth because I'm waiting for it to come to PC.
Oh, okay.
But this is why I can't say too much, because to me, Melina Jurgens was the shoe-in, but I don't know how well his performance was in Rebirth, so I have to reserve the smoke until I play that game. I may have smoke for you 6 months from now, but for right now, I can't say anything.
Yeah, I got no words on it either.
He reserves the right for later smoke. I understand.
I think I'm at the point now where I'm gonna wait for that big grand collection that's gonna come out once they all release, and then it's gonna be some cool special edition with a giant statue that's gonna go up somewhere. And yeah, I'll wait on that.
He's already picking his spot right over there.
Oh, it's gonna be silly. It's probably gonna be like $400. Like, I already know what's gonna happen. So
okay, I got two more stories, and I think we'll call it for today, because I want to keep Everborn's voice working. You know, he's here, and I feel you, sir. I feel you. Yeesh. I understand, sir.
Look, I just want to get under the blanket.
Door.
So, first one, which is basically what we were talking about, Everborn. Like, what you're looking at right now is play.xbox.com. We were having this conversation, right? When Microsoft last week talked about everything being an Xbox.
I just want people to see the user experience.
All right. So
you got to sign in.
Microsoft. Well, you want me to play a game?
No. I would like to point people to this user experience.
Okay,
and it would be better if you signed it.
Let me sign it. Yeah. So we've been talking about this for some time, right? What Microsoft did as far as everything is an Xbox or whatever, right? And we said they tend to put the cart before the horse, right? And almost as if they knew exactly what we were talking about. A week after they announced the initiative, they also announced that, oh yeah, you can play your own games now on the service. Which we didn't we say this? Maybe you should have announced that first before you announce that everything is an Xbox. This just tends to be how they move.
Thank you.
It tends to be how they move. They put the cart before the horse. They don't know how to do it any other way. They'll tell you. Oh, by the way, here is your tax liability for $1 million, and then next week they'll tell you, by the way, you won a $10 million home.
Yeah,
it's weird, very, very weird. But yes. When this conversation came about, right, and this was a badly kept secret. People knew this was coming. So when this conversation came about, and everybody was like grabbing the pitchforks about how the heck are you going to do this? This is not going to work. Blah 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 blah. What did I say, Everborn Saga? I said let's wait and see what they ultimately do, because they are.
And what I said is, why
putting the cart before the horse?
Why should we wait? Because they're putting this in front of us, and so
we have. And you were right. And you were right. Absolutely, it was righteous criticism. It was righteous criticism to give, but here we are, because what I knew was going to happen inevitably did happen, which is them announcing that you can now play your own games that you own, stream your own games, which you're looking at on my screen. This is my own games.
Can I say something?
Uh-huh.
Can you go back up to the top?
Okay.
Just go to the top. Just cycle through these games here at the top. Jump back in.
Okay.
Right? Can you press the Xbox button?
The Xbox button? Sure.
Yeah.
But if I press the Xbox button, the game bar comes up because we're on PC.
Yeah, no, that was my point. Right?
Okay.
What I'm doing is I'm highlighting, look at this UI.
Yep.
Makes sense. It's controller first. It works across multiple screen sizes because you're on your PC right now. This could very well be on your TV.
Yeah.
This could very well be on your TV.
Yes.
This works very well in handheld. Can I ask you a question, Baron? Because I ask everybody this that comes to this show. Why can't we get this for the Xbox PC app?
Oh my God. Oh, I didn't know you were going there. Oh man. Hey, dude. That app, man.
Don't start this. We're gonna be here for 5 hours, bro. We're gonna be here for 5 hours.
No,
now.
you right. Once again, it's like they just do such a good job of like showing what should and could be, and then just
because this is the funny thing, Baron. I'm all listen. F the console. I don't need it. I'm all about the hardware agnostic ecosystem, right?
Hey, man.
But once we get there, you cannot have this disjointed experience from when I'm on PC, when I'm on cloud, when I'm on console. I have a PC connected to my TV right now, right?
Oh, you living different.
Right, which means
this man living in the future.
If I want to be right, if I want to be in the Xbox ecosystem, I have to deal with the Xbox PC app. Now, why would I do that when Steam with big picture mode is right there?
Yeah, big picture mode is pretty cool.
Right? Yeah. So my point is, this should be Xbox's big picture mode. They could do it, but they figure, who cares? Only 5% of people are connecting PCs to TVs, so we don't got to worry about it. Meanwhile, my library is getting bigger and bigger on Steam, when I would prefer to be in that vision where any screen is an Xbox, but every screen is not an Xbox because they don't got the cohesive vision yet. That didn't stop them from putting the ad out and having
you know what else?
PlayStation 5 Pro is an Xbox. But anyway,
you know what else?
You are very salty about that. I understand.
They are so big of a company and they have so much money. What I would like to see, not need to see, but what I would like to see is a universal like text. What is the word I'm looking for? Breakfast is missed. I'm starting to blank. I'm so sorry. Subtitles. I want to see subtitles and text maybe be enlarged overall. Because I don't have the biggest TV in my bedroom. I made the mistake of trying to play Starfield in my room. Yeah, no. The text is just too small.
Too tiny.
Yeah, it's way too small of an experience. And I think that's something that they could, especially accessibility wise, because I know if I have an issue with it and I don't have bad vision, I can only imagine somebody with bad vision not being able to experience the everything is an Xbox. Like, you know, like if you're gonna do it, there's certain things you might need to make adjustments for along the way. But that's just, you know.
So I will read this super chat, but I will read it wrong on purpose.
So that's how you spell
Mr. Septic Sauce, £5 super chat. He says my Splinter Cell is an Xbox.
Don't give me you did it.
That's
you
not what he said.
Cell, but you said Splinter Cell.
That's not what he said. And it's gonna be people listening on audio that's gonna think that that's what he said. That's not what he said.
Well, all right, Everborn. What did he say then? What did he say then, Everborn?
He says his sphincter is an Xbox.
We're trying to keep this. We're trying to keep this family friendly.
That was my one.
Now,
I use that.
I apologize. I apologize, parents, for those who have to answer the question.
That's an organ. That's a part of the, not an organ. That's
it is part of the body.
Apologize for nothing, because Xbox did tell you that everything is an Xbox.
Oh man! Hey, the way they, you know what? I'm happy that they leaned in with it. Like if you gonna swing. Like,
swing it. That's right.
And they swung the hell out of that. Now, do I wish there was some other things they marketed that heavy? Absolutely. Yeah. But the rollout they had with that, they clearly believe, and I'm like, go for it.
You can't say Xbox don't market anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that's out the window.
Umbra, this is what's happening all across all the. I'm sorry. Blame Septic. It's his fault. It's fine.
It's the thing you go potty with, baby. No,
yeah, there you go. Okay. So why is he saying that's an Xbox? Well, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, now that
because he has a screen there.
Now it's a different form of entertainment.
So you're saying my PlayStation Portals? No, never mind. All right, let's move on. All right, it's fine.
You guys didn't know about the Gaz OnlyFans, did you?
I can see that actually. I can see it. I don't want to see it, but I can see it. I don't want to see it, but I can see it.
Let's go.
That's right.
Hall of Fame.
All right. So final story of the day, because that's what we all here to talk about. I know you want to talk about. I know, Mr. Everborn, you have some takes, most likely. Let's see. And what story am I talking about? I am talking about the fact that Kadokawa has confirmed that PlayStation sent them a letter of intent to acquire them. Now, who is Kadokawa? They are the best way you can describe them for those who may not understand exactly what their full reach is. In the Japan region, they are the Marvel Comics to the MCU. Right? They are they are where most manga comes. Well, they're not most. In that region, there are many competitors, but they are such a big competitor that they make a substantial difference in that market, where they are the peddlers of the books, right? The various stories you that eventually end up as anime that you find on Crunchyroll, which PlayStation owns. You know, Kadokawa has a really big arm
and
in that
Funimation
world,
and the producers of a lot of movies,
and Aniplex.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and beyond just this story specifically, it also seems, and this is a rumor and speculation in article form, it also seems that much like in the ABK comparison, Kadokawa actually stepped to PlayStation saying, "Hey, please purchase us," to stave off the potential hostile takeover from another Korean company. Right. So there's a lot of moving and shaking in there. Has it been done? Is the oil dry, the ink dry on the page? Not quite yet, but it's heading in that direction. Mr. Everborn Saga, I'll start with you, sir. What were your takes when all of this came about?
Well, history doesn't repeat itself, but sometimes it rhymes.
Yes, it does. Yes,
I sent you something in the private chat. If you could just bring that link up.
Okay, let's find this thing. Hold on. And you talk while I look it up.
Now, I hear this information and it sounds a little familiar to me.
What does it sound like?
Remember when Sony was in talks to buy Paramount?
Mm-hmm.
And how that turned out?
Yeah, there's even still talks about them trying to buy Paramount. Still, like recently,
yes, because they wanted pieces of it, and Paramount said, "Kick rocks."
All or nothing, son.
Right.
That's what it is.
And so I come back to this and say, if I have a general rule when it comes to acquisitions, if we are hearing about it before an official announcement of the commencement of a deal, the deal's probably not going to happen.
Okay.
Now, usually when we are in these situations, and this information leaks, it is because one party is trying to affect their leverage in the deal, right? Which means they don't feel like their position is being recognized by the other party, right? So what does that tell us, right? It tells us that they have not come to an agreement on a price if they were to do this deal. Now that you have the public weighing in, we can see what the value of the stock shoots up to, and now we have a better idea of what at least the public thinks that such a deal would be worth, because we saw Kadokawa stock shoot up around 30%. Damn. So if Sony was offering anything less than that, we already know they're going to have to offer more, right? So there's that piece of it. Now, the other question is, there's two sides of this. I think the reason we are talking about this is From Software, but there's also the Paramount side of it, right? Which I think Sony would probably be even more interested in, because it gives them even more leverage in a market that they largely control, at least in the West. There are many other outlets to distribute anime, but in the West, the two biggest were Funimation and Crunchyroll, and Sony owns both, right? And that's before you get to the production of anime with Aniplex, and now you get to the IPs that Kadokawa owns. And now you have this amazing powerhouse. And you'd think when we're talking about vertical markets that this would raise an eyebrow.
Man, it did for me.
However, I've not heard anybody making any preliminary statements. I have not heard anything about any of that. And we can discuss as to what reasons there are. But if we're just talking about that specific market, this feels like a very large play. It's because a lot of people have told me, well, the people that had bad energy for the ABK deal, they've said, well, this is nowhere near the size, so it doesn't matter. From a From Software Sony PlayStation perspective, yes. But from a Funimation, Crunchyroll, Aniplex position in that anime distribution market, huge.
Look,
you're on mute.
You're muted, Kate. Yeah.
This is why I keep saying, and forgive me, the great podcasting professional that I am. This is why I keep saying that this is very similar to the ABK deal, right?
Yeah.
Like much like the ABK deal, that's not what brought them there, right? But everybody was COD busy when clearly there was another reason for them wanting to own that. And again, of course, they came to ABK came to them for that,
right? Like
right?
From Software is a bonus of this deal.
Exactly.
Not,
so I guess my question is, I guess my question is this Kadokawa purchase, this whole idea, is From Software the COD of this purchase, where keep your eye on the ball, don't pay attention to the real reason behind the scenes why this is so much more advantageous for us? Because that's exactly the same way it was with Xbox. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but COD was still a significant thing that I think at least needed to be vetted. Did it need to take 2 years? Absolutely not. Did Jim Ryan have to fly all over the world just to end up with the same thing and him getting the boot?
But this
Absolutely
is the question. This is the question. Because Elden Ring is the juggernaut we know it is today, do we see when this happens, even though we know that they're there for the anime and the manga and the IP rights, do we see lion, crying, flying, dance moves, Saraband?
We should.
Yeah.
We should, right?
No. Well, we should be just because of the get back and
shady boots. Got to put them on.
Do they need to? No. Now, here's the thing about this deal.
But I mean, Elden Ring is at a critical mass in the zeitgeist that it could warrant someone going, "Hey, that would what is the key term? That would foreclose on us, the rivals. If they buy that, then they take it away from us. Let's look at how big and massive and popular it is."
But this is the same company who owns the fighting game scene, literally.
Yeah, hook, line, and sinker. They own the whole thing.
Without debate, you own the fighting game community. So, and then at this point, they own English dubbed anime. I don't think people truly understand Sony owns Western anime. They own it. Like, good luck trying to watch Fooly Cooly in English legally without owning the DVD. Like, just go try to stream it. I'm glad we got Cowboy Bebop still.
And Darren, I think some of the conversations we were having before are the reason why that is today what's going on with what you're describing here. Those in power, those regulatory watchdogs, they don't have a full understanding of what's going on here. So, they own the picture, the cartoon anime. Oh yeah, sure, whatever. That's child's play. They don't understand the fundamental future.
Now here's the
them,
question. When regulators look at this, how will they narrow the market, right? Because that was a big issue, right? So your market definition is the first thing when it comes to these regulatory decisions. And if Sony positions what they have with Crunchyroll, Funimation, if they position that as just another streaming service, and I'm sure that's what they will say, then they're very small potatoes, tiny, right?
Yeah.
But if it is looked at as anime streaming they're the whole ball game.
They are.
We're
Outside
talking
of like
about
high dive.
So
like
does
we're
that
talking
mean
about 80-90% market share, right?
So does that mean the crying, lying dance moves comes from Netflix?
I'll take it.
No, I don't know that Netflix cares. To be honest,
because they have
because in the West they're the only real competitor when it comes to anime.
But if you notice, what you'll see is the big name animes that are coming out. They're also streaming on Netflix, so they're
true.
They're
maybe
bridging,
they have a deal going on. Bridging
that gap.
Okay.
And then remember, Xbox was the only people to give away Crunchyroll for like 6 months. Like you got 6 months of Crunchyroll Premium on Xbox
because of Xbox.
PlayStation. Yeah. I'm telling you, they're planting good seed. It just sucks as a consumer of this stuff that. I mean, everything from merch shops have been absorbed. Like it's really boiling down to one place.
Let me tell you something, right? And I can just tell you this as a person who releases a manga-inspired comic book series. Like right now, I'm trying to get a table at Anime NYC for 2025.
You're gonna get it. Let's go.
Well, no. I can get it right now, but their prices are double what New York Comic Con costs.
Ooh.
Double.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And you know who funds that? Crunchyroll.
Yeah, that is true, right? Yeah.
And look how deep this goes. Yeah. No, but that's the scary thing. Look at the layers of this. Yep. Them owning that. And
I'm telling you right now, like when you get a booth at these shows, is about the amount of traffic that comes, that walks the floor, because you hope you get some percentage of that traffic. Their traffic, because this, I know manga is #1 sales, sure, but they have half the foot traffic, and it's at the same place in the Javits Center. So you got half the foot traffic, but double the price. And it wasn't always like that, right? So Crunchyroll funds this thing, owned by Sony now, and the price shoots up because what Crunchyroll always funded it, but before the Sony buyout, they weren't charging this much for a booth at their Javits convention. So. It's not all like, these are things that make me worry about them getting even bigger in that space. And this is someone as a creator in the space that there's actually
it directly affects your wallet.
No, and what's so trippy, right? We're seeing multiple angles of this. I'm talking about this from the angle of a consumer. Like I want to be able to go watch English dubbed fully coolly like I used to on Funimation. But then Funimation got dissolved and absorbed into Crunchyroll. And then Crunchyroll took forever to bring over whatever dubs they did have. But then they still don't have all the dubs that used to exist within Funimation. Then you have, like, it is wild what's going on with the space in terms of being able to enjoy your content, the content that exists. Like, it's at a point now where you would be better off just going out and buying your favorite anime. Like, just if you like, go buy it, please. Like, go buy the physical, because you may not even be able to stream. Like, we've seen it happen with Amazon. Yeah, I bought the rights to the digital, but
they turn it off.
Amazon lost the rights, so now you don't have it anymore. So what happens when my favorite anime? Because I do own, I want to say I own Cowboy Bebop through Amazon as well. I think there was a crazy sale, and I was like, "Oh, I'll buy it. Screw it." And if, let's say, Crunchyroll comes around and is like, "Hey, we only want it streamed over here." Now what I bought through Amazon is non-existent. Like, it's gone.
Right. Yep.
And they can and they have done these things. Like, it took for like all the Sword Art
Roshan
Online.
Eppinger,
like, it's crazy.
Roshan Eppinger has a question for you. He says, "What are you doing watching dubbed anime?"
Let me tell you. Oh, easy fix. I'm a dad of 3. I have a job. I got things I'm doing.
Listen, don't explain yourself.
No. I love having this. I love having this conversation because, first off, most folks do not speak Japanese. And I want to be able to enjoy my entertainment however I can. I grew up on Toonami.
There you
I
go.
am a Toonami kid.
There
I
you
grew
go.
up watching
Excellent.
Pokemon. I grew up watching
Excellent.
Toonami. I grew up watching Adult Swim. These things were dubbed, bro.
All right, let me tell you how I grew up, right? I used to have to go to Chinatown
Okay.
to a place
Trenches.
specifically called Games and James. There was another place around Times Square where I used to get the VHS copies recorded directly from Japan that still
those
had
who
the
don't know,
commercials in it.
Those are tapes that have
Yeah.
magnets that are digital. No, I'm sorry. We'll talk
This
about it
is
later.
where I
Continue on
got.
the point.
This is where I got the Cell Saga and the Frieza Saga and the
Oh,
Brawl
Okay.
movie
Okay.
when it first came out. And when I
Okay.
got the Brawly movie, because it was recorded directly from Japanese TV, it didn't even have subtitles. I just had to guess what they was talking about, right? So I've lived that life. Now that I have arrived, I watch in dubbed.
Yeah.
Or I wait until the dub is available.
Yep.
So imagine him just stroking his gray beard. I'll do it for him since he's not on camera right now.
Wait.
When everybody was watching Toonami,
Uh-huh.
when Goku went Super Saiyan for the first time, I was like, oh, that's cute. I remember those days.
Yeah.
Listen, don't talk to me unless you know about
In
the
94,
Yu Yu
right?
Hakusho
94.
and the Fatal Fury and the Street
Oh,
Fighter
wow,
the animated
yeah.
movie. Listen,
Oh,
I'm not-
yeah.
Hey, wait. What about let's take it a little modern. Let's show them the modern struggle. What about having to watch YouTube videos with the episode inverted and in this big,
wow.
and it was the opacity was like at like 50%, and it was 6 parts to one episode. Like, come on, man! Like, I'm in the trenches with this. Like, bro. Woo. Oh,
So
man.
I guess the question is on this whole thing, will the powers that be recognize how big of a market they are potentially getting into with this, or will they let this slide because it's no big deal, it's just a bunch of cartoons?
Only if Hulu, Amazon, and Netflix complain. The problem is Hulu,
they may be
Amazon, and Netflix
inoculated already because they got deals.
Not as stupid as Jim Ryan and Sony, and they will not want the ire regulators looking back at them for complaining. I doubt they will say anything, but this is absolutely significant.
In the back room, they hating it, but they can't speak on it because God forbid we have to open them books.
Open them books, baby.
Yeah. I get you. What do you think, Baron? Do you think this thing is something that is a foregone conclusion, even though they're still talking about there's letters of intent and this, that, and the third? Is this done? And then I have one last question that I want both of y'all to answer. Is this a done deal?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest.
You're asking if it's a done deal while that Paramount deal that fizzled out is right on the screen.
Still
I just want to point that out.
Hey, no, right?
Yeah,
Look,
yeah,
that's definitely influencing my answer. But
but
all seriousness, I could see it going through because of the idea of the leading with From Software. And because, like you said, they're not going to look any deeper. They're not going to have nobody in that room is going to have the conversation. What about the kid who enjoys the dubbed anime? What about nobody's going to have that conversation? That's not going to get brought up.
You mean like how the FCC was like, what about the kid who wants the Call of Duty skin on Christmas, and by the heavens, he may not get it if Xbox owns Call of Duty?
Yeah,
we're not going to hear that argument in the reverse.
They did say that before. They did.
Maybe you know what? I'm doing the whole thing where I'm dooming and glooming it and hoping it works out how I want it to. But how I want it to work, the damage is already done. So it's almost like, well, do we just let them just have it? I kind of want to see a little fight going on. Like, do we just let them have Western access to anime? Like, do we just outright, hey, it's done because they have a majority of it already? I don't know. Like, and that's kind of where I'm sitting.
Here's the thing. This is going to be a weird take, right? I think they had for anime distribution, they have an outsized share of that market. That is true. But I will say there was a world prior to this stuff where I had to look all over the place for anime.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta be scraping and scrambling to find it, because even when you see it on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, they don't really categorize it in a way where you can find things that you want in the way that you could in Funimation and Crunchyroll. And Funimation is what I looked at for dubbed. Crunchyroll is what I always looked at for what is the newest, hottest anime. It's always going to be there, whether it's dubbed or not. And so putting those things together and hoping that the people from Funimation can dub more of the things that are in Crunchyroll, to me, I think that they've been good in this space in that way. I don't feel like anime as a whole has gotten worse. Now, what they did to Funimation, how they just fired most of the staff and just forced people into Crunchyroll, and again, what they're doing in the convention scene is all terrible. But if I take my publisher hat off and I just sit back as a consumer of anime, I'm glad that those things have coalesced in the way they have, because it makes it easier for me to find and watch whatever the newest.
It's not the 90s anymore.
And do a great job at making sure it's because Amazon don't care about dubbing anything.
Oh no.
Right. And then Netflix gets the shows, but you're like 2 seasons behind with the Netflix.
Yep.
And then Hulu is like basically just there because of Toonami. So really, if you want to be on the pulse of things, you got to have this new Crunchyroll subscription. And I like the subscription, right?
Yeah.
I really do like it and get value from it. So I don't want to hate on it too much. But I just don't know that it's going to go through, because here's another thing to consider with this deal. Like, especially from the From Software piece of it, because this is the other thing that we have to discuss. If it does go through, and I'm not sure that it will, because I think they would have struck a deal and then we would have heard.
I'm gonna get there, sir. Let me strike.
Okay, if you're gonna get there, I won't do what you did to me with anyway. Go ahead.
Pixel
steal your thunder.
$2 super chat. He says, "Shout out to the calling out of Games and James, sir." Fellow,
you know what it is. You know,
fellow graybeards. You know what it is. Absolutely.
You got to be from New York to know about that.
I will put the poll in the chat, and then I'll ask the final question.
By the way, Games and James is where I got my Dreamcast, the import version. I had the white joint before everybody else, straight from Games and James.
See, you had to get the black one. The black one was a special one, man. The sports collection. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on. I put the poll in the chat right now, and I will ask the question. The question is: after this purchase, thought experiment. After the purchase, from Soft Games on Xbox, your choices are: it's done. No more FromSoft games on Xbox. Option 2, will still come to every platform. Or option 3, only Elden Ring stays multi-platform.
I
Baron,
can't see the
I'll go to you first.
For me. Oh, sorry.
Baron, you first. What are your thoughts?
I was going to say,
when this is done, do they move like the PlayStation of old, or is another thing happen? What do you think?
They're definitely, because PlayStation is still selling products and not just services. They want you to buy their console. They want you to buy the Portal. They want you to buy their earbuds. And what a solid way then to the next installment of Dark Souls, the next official mainline installment, to be PlayStation exclusive. Oh yeah. Oh, they're definitely it's
so how about the caveat of Elden Ring? So Elden Ring 2 only on PlayStation?
I think Elden Ring is a good way to keep the whole world talking about the Souls series, and it's earned that, it's gained that. I remember it took over social media. It made it really got in the trenches with it. You may not be able to do the same thing with a Dark Souls. You would hope to, but I don't think you will. And Elden Ring, it will be. I think that might still be multi-plat.
So Elden Ring is the calling card, and everything else.
It's because Xbox don't got Demon Souls, right? The remake.
True.
There you go. True. Proof's in the pudding.
Everborn Saga, sir.
So I
today Xbox, it's sold. What happens? Yeah, go ahead.
I think everything that they do not named Elden Ring would be exclusive to the PlayStation ecosystem and PC. I think Elden Ring is one of those titles, one of those like it did Call of Duty numbers, right?
Yeah.
It is still, even today, in the top 20 sales.
Yep.
2 years later, they're still being nominated for Game of the Year, believe it or not.
The only game to win it twice.
But
Slander.
On top,
all right,
it's doing Hogwarts numbers, right?
Man,
and
true. Yeah.
Especially the way Sony's gaming division is now, I really could not picture, like, they have to be very careful with their acquisitions, right? Yeah. We know Bungie, they're having a rough go of things with that acquisition. We know Concord didn't really. Firewalk.
Concord what? Move along. That's fine.
Okay, sure. But Firewalk didn't really go well, right?
True.
As a matter of fact, Firewalk did so badly that it took down Deviation Games with it. I've never heard of that. How does a game fail so bad that it takes out
ripple
a studio
effect took out a side
studio?
Hey, they got us, guys. They found us. Hey, knock knock. Hey, they found us. We're out.
But so I don't know that they can get a something that is like the size of a From and just decide we're gonna take the chance on something like an Elden Ring because Elden Ring can make enough money for an Elden Ring 2 can make enough money so that the other ones can be exclusive. And again, a lot of people will point to, well, Xbox is only selling half of this, and there's 2 to 1. That's fine. That's still tens of millions of players. Right. And if we're talking about a cross-gen thing, we're talking about 50 to 60 million people. Right. That is not nothing. And millions of people purchased Elden Ring on the Xbox. I don't know that Elden Ring specifically is one that you would do it, but absolutely Dark Souls. Maybe you'll finally get a Bloodborne. You won't. But Dark Souls, Demon Souls,
Jesus,
all that. Right?
Give people some hope, sir.
What are you doing? Elden Ring 2 is just one of those things that's too big to make sense to keep exclusive. Everything else, though, I agree. No chance coming to Xbox.
You know, I hate to do this, but I agree. I agree by and large with everybody's take on this. Yep, understood.
I just want to say thank you guys so much, and much love to everybody.
Thank you, Baron, for being here, sir. We appreciate you. Real quick, tell the people where they can keep up with your ongoings on the internet, sir.
Yeah, man. Anywhere, Baron J67, Xbox, if you want to randomly watch me zone out in Call of Duty for hours on end, it's Plastic Button. No spaces. But we actually just had a pretty cool showcase where we had Jeff Grubb, Ryan McCaffrey. We had a bunch of folks on, and that is, you can find that at youtube.com/LV1Gaming20. And please just make sure to go and follow us. We're trying to hit 5,000. Subscribing costs nothing, guys. You guys make sure to hit that sub button here. Please stop treating it like currency. It's not Twitch. I always felt that YouTube should have pivoted with the success of Twitch. YouTube should have kind of shifted the word subscribe, because it kind of changed. It carries a different meaning.
Made it difficult. Yes.
Yeah, it means something different now, because when you subscribe to anything else outside of YouTube, that means it costs money.
You're costing something. Yes.
So I felt like just for maybe a little pivot can't hurt. I don't know what they would pivot to, but please subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe here. I can't spell subscribe.
Thank you. So don't even worry about it. We will make sure we post all of your links in the show notes when it arrives. This is what I'll be making sure it's all nice and clean. Shout out to you for being here. Level 1 Gaming, great content creators. Always have awesome content. I hope more people have a chance to check them out. They're doing big things, and it's well deserved. Baron, thank you so much for being here. This is
appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for having me. Much love.
Great conversation.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, man. Thank you so much. But yes, thanks to Baron for being here. And I think with that may be very, very much we're at the end of the conversation already. Anyway, Mr. Everborn Saga, you need to go rest those
everything. I need to rest everything. Let's not make it specific.
I was gonna say something, but it was not. It was gonna be too.
That's why I cut you off. I saved you. Okay, so the big thing is Tomorrow's the day. You don't know what the day is.
Explain.
The Cybertruck.
Well, oh Lord, your Cybertruck is coming in tomorrow?
It's already there. We pick it up tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. Fantastic. That's great, man. Congratulations. I want to see some pictures. I want to see copious
This is
pictures.
the thing. I'm going to send you the pictures. I don't know if I want to listen. We're all family here listening to the show. I don't know how I feel about posting about it on X these days.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to get on Blue Sky with those pictures. Forget about X.
No. That might be even worse.
That might be worse. Yeah. You might be considered a traitor on there. Oh boy. This is hard.
This is an interesting thing. I don't know, just like if we take a 30,000 foot view society wise, it seems like X is leaning hard towards the right. I don't know if you've noticed this.
I haven't been paying such close attention, but I can see that in the wake of the election.
Now, Blue Sky seems to be the opposite of that. Seems to be leaning towards the left.
So you're saying that the left are running the left are having lefty flight to Blue Sky?
Well, no, it's not that.
Right?
Like, what is it? Okay. What does it mean for society if we're not? If we're saying, well, we can't hash things out through discourse, I'm just going to
go find our own place.
Yeah, I don't know how great that is. Yeah. Right, because I feel like,
but isn't that the work of the algorithm already setting people up to only want to be in their own silos? So when clearly those silos break down, they are just so they are conditioned to go seek out another silo.
I mean, I hear you, but I think silos are the problem.
Oh no, I agree, 100%. Yeah.
So I don't know how good it is from a societal perspective.
That we take our ball and go home every time we don't like something,
right? Because then you're only going to interact with like people that think like you, and then ideas don't get challenged, and that works both ways. And so I don't know how great that is.
The man hard geek coming with the facts. He says, according to CNN, X is even between left and right. He thinks it's about 1% more in either one or the other. So there you go. Maybe it's anecdotally in your timeline.
Could be. It could be the
algorithm is working as it should, because that's what it's supposed to do, right?
Now, one thing we didn't get to talk about is the DOJ attempting to force Google to sell Chrome.
That's a different comment. That is not so much a GCP talk. That's more of a Gamers Playground talk. Maybe you want to come down to the Gamers Playground on Monday nights with myself and Mr. John Wolf, cheap plug, and we could talk about that. More PC talk. Actually, there's multiple browser talk. That specifically that you're describing with the DOJ trying to peel away Chrome from Google. There's even another one where Microsoft has just released a new in their insider program, a new way of basically for streamers, it seems, right, being able to paste the pieces of a browser in game as an overlay while you play. So this is a world where you can basically have your Twitter stream on the corner while you're gaming, and you don't have to alt tab. They're getting rid of the alt tab, right? It's specifically for PC gamers. You are saying, hey, they're not taking gaming seriously. This is an innovation in that world, because that has not been easy to do until this innovation. So interesting time we find.
I just want to say one thing about the whole Google thing, because we're very
okay.
It's too early to say whether it will happen or not, but I see a lot of people thinking this could be terrible, this and that and the third. Yeah. There was a time when Microsoft was like the end all be all to computing, and there was a time when Internet Explorer was just how 90% of people interacted with the internet. In those early days.
I'm from the days of Netscape Navigator, baby. You forget.
That's fine. But what I'm saying is, when Microsoft faced the threat of being broken up, they were able to skirt it, but they did have to offer the browser ballot, and that allowed Google to grow and flourish.
And I'd argue it also changed the way Microsoft thinks of PR forever. It like even to this day, a lot of their moves you can basically pinpoint back to that browser ballad days when they got their hand slapped for being presumably too aggressive.
Right. And so if this does happen, or if some version of this happens that breaks up the way Google is able to operate with Chrome and other things, I think it could be a good thing, and it could allow for more competition in the market, because we did again.
Microsoft, you're looking for it to break Google.
Microsoft had no competitors, no real competitors at their scale, and now you see the Googles and the other people of the world are Microsoft is trying to catch up in that world, and they had to find different ways to compete, and so maybe breaking off Google from Chrome, maybe that's a good thing for all of us. Maybe, I don't know.
In the long run, it might be. You're right. They might be too far gone, and they need that come to Jesus moment, as it were, in order for others to make space in that market for them. Arc as a browser, by the way, Arc browser, interesting, unique take on browsers. There's still innovation in that space. Check it out. I will let Alex's question be our last one. He says, "Hey, were there no avowed previews topics? Everborn Saga. What did you think of the avowed previews?"
I thought it looked fantastic.
Okay, third person, first person.
Definitely going to play third person.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, I too really enjoyed it. I think it had a lot of similarities from my perch. It looked like visually a lot of similarities to Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
I've seen some screenshots of this, and the stills that I've seen shared, I know those are stills, but the game looks beautiful.
It looks really great. I think so, yeah.
Now, my question, though, is, and they talked about this, it's primarily a first-person game, and I wanted to bring this up because when we talked about Halo and the animations and why I'm not a fan of being able to switch back and forth, something they talked about is that they had to fit the third-person animations into the same time slots as the first-person animation. And those things don't always work together. And that's another sort of example of why I don't think bolting on a different perspective from the way it's designed is something that should be taken lightly. So, you
think this is bolted on, though? I didn't get that.
They say they've always planned this.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it is still a first experience, right? So everything that they do is still around the first person thing, and they have to work around other things to add that third person mode. So we will see how the melee combat feels in third person. Personally, this kind of RPG, an action RPG, I prefer playing it in third person, but will it feel too robotic moving the character around in third person? I don't know. So, but again, the way that I'm going to play, or planning to play, at least unless it's really bad, is third person exclusively. That's how I'm going to play that game. So we'll see how it ends up. But I am
Andrew Wilkins pointing out that Avowed has performance issues and will be 30.
The unreleased game has performance issues.
Well, they did say on X and S it will be a 30 frames locked, but they are looking into optimizing it further. So
I mean, but I don't want to really hear about performance issues until the game comes out.
Until that's when we can talk about it. Until it releases, absolutely. No,
and I'll be playing on the 4090. I don't know what you guys are doing.
I'm just saying. It is what it is. But you know what? Here's a question for you, Mr. Everborn Saga. When folks find themselves on the everbornsaga.com, and there's a little icon there in the chat, and it says, "Hey, you want to chat with us?" Who are they talking to? Right now, it says no. Please.
That literally goes to my phone.
It goes to your phone.
Yes.
Interesting. Wow, that is very cool. Well, while we're in the outro phase, why don't you tell the fine folks what else they can find here on the Everborn Saga?
Well, as you can see under my title, Ariel's Adventure Chapter 2, the book from the Kickstarter, is now available to all, and we still have a few of the variant covers available. As I said, when those run out, they're gone forever. But you know, you can hover over any of these. All these books are available right now on everbornsaga.com. So check these out if you can, if you have not already supported the Kickstarter. We are hard at work on 3 different books at once. All 3 releasing in 2025. So we have a big year coming up. And check it out. We also sell the Charge Them More and CEG.
Where can I find that bio? Where do I find that?
You can go under apparel.
Under apparel, okay. Let's see. So there's that. I actually have this shirt. Quite nice. I like it a lot. Very cool. And you can tell Mr. Everborn Saga. Well, where else? I still don't see it. Where are they?
Oh, you won't. Those are hidden. I have to send it. You can search for it.
Oh, okay.
Click search.
Okay. You have to search and then ask for Charge Them More.
Yeah, you can just say charge. That should be. There you go.
There you go. There's the Charge Them More. So it's a it's a hidden feature of the website to sell you Charge Them More t-shirt.
Yes,
it's an Easter egg. Okay, which I assume the price of this shirt was $6.99 and now it's on discounted to $18.
It was $69.99. Yes, it's on sale from that.
Understood. But what else? And there's the CEG shirt for my emotional gamers out there. Nicely done. Well done, sir. I also have this shirt. I have a bunch of your shirts. This is real good. Anyway, where else can they keep up with your ongoings this week? What are you doing? What games you're playing? What's going on?
No, I'm going to be sick this week. The only place to catch up with me is on everbornsaga.com. You can find me on X or Blue Sky as well.
Okay.
But go to the website. Buy something first.
There you go. Go to the website. Buy something. Yes. As for me, I'll be on the channel Wednesday. You can find me on Mr. Boomstick Excel's channel as you do. We always enjoy having chats there. I think we've been doing an off and on every other week with myself and Mr. John Wolf because work and that kind of stuff has led to that change a little bit. But we'll revisit the time slots and stuff in the new year. You can of course always catch up with our ongoings here on the gamingcircle.com. Find all the stuff we do, old episodes, plus some of the great articles that we've been writing there. There's more to come on that as well. We've been doing some interesting things in the background that hopefully will come to fruition soon enough. So I'll keep an eye on the various social media networks to keep up to date with all the ongoings there. But yeah, man, I think we're done. We hit our 3-hour mark. So I guess we'll adjourn it there. We did it, as it were. Shout out to the great Baron from Level 1 Gaming who came to rock with us. It was a great guest. We appreciate him, and we're hoping that we'll get him back soon. But until next week, shout out to all y'all wonderful humans who are in the chat who kept the conversation lively. We will talk again soon. Until next week, as you know it.
Thanks for being on it.